Welcome, my little couch potatoes, to the comfiest courtroom on the internet. I'm your host, Llama, and it's time for dramatic testimony, overruled objections, and absolutely unqualified opinions. So grab your snuggiest blanket, some delicious snacks, and get ready to watch court with your internet besties. This is Couch Court with Llama.
Hello, we're back, couch potatoes. Welcome back. Court was very short earlier because apparently they had some stuff they needed to discuss outside the presence of the jury, which we don't know necessarily what that is because the judge ordered on Monday that the cameras could not stream anything that was outside the presence of the jury. But the lovely Angie was on X, and Kathy Russin from Long Crime filled some of us in. So let's talk about that real quick. And actually, no, let me say hi to everyone real quick while everyone's gathering because they're going to want to hear it too. So I'll say hi real quick to everybody. Hi, Juju. Good afternoon. Christy's found us again. Thank you. Thank you. So happy you're here. Juju says, thanks for the gift membership. Yes. Oh, of course. Brenton's calling me right now. Damn it, elbow feet. Every time. Oh my goodness, I swear. Oh, my little llama just left the... Anyway, hi. It was either Amos or the lovely Lady in Gray. Oh, or Terry. I don't know. There was a huge gifting frenzy in our first stream. There's the train. It's like, oh, hey, are you busy? Did you go live? Great. Let's, call and let's have a train go by. And what else? Why not? It's fine. Nobody's doing a stream. Anyway, yes, it was a gifting train earlier today. So that was awesome. Hello, Kelly. Welcome back. Hope you're doing well. Oh, Kelly, we don't like this yet on the internet. Thank you. Not to toot my own horn, but I think so too. Hey, Bub, can you do me a favor, please? Can you use my phone because yours dead? Call BB and see what it is. Hold on, no. Sorry, guys. Just make sure it's not something super important. Here you go, little llama. Thank you. Sorry. Oh, it's probably about dinner. I bet it's about dinner because it's always the what are we having for dinner conversation, which is, I don't know. And we left the door open. Oh my goodness. Shut the door. I don't know what I want for dinner.
Mom doesn't know what she wants for dinner. So.
I just went live again. So I don't know. Whatever you guys decide on is fine, okay? Hello, Teresia. Hello. Welcome back. It's Shoshana. Welcome back as well. Look at all these people in green. I love it. Hello, Lady in Gray. Welcome back. Oh, you just ordered pizza. I bet you it'll be pizza. Bet. We'll see. Yeah, that's fine. I guess. Yeah, that's fine. It's Wendy's. I guess that's what we're doing for dinner. So anyway, you're fixing a Mississippi pot roast. I love that. Oh, so back to the news. All right. So per Kathy Russin, this is what her ex posted. Some interesting things happened outside the jury's presence in Nevada versus Devyn Michaels just now. The judge ordered that we can't broadcast anything without the jury present, but our photographer. Well, first of all, it says photo G. So, yes, honey.
You want bacon?
Yeah, that's fine.
He said you have.
Just crazy. Anyway, but our photographer is giving the play-by-play. They had a detective on the stand to talk about all the interviews Devyn had with the police. There were 6 interviews. He said Devyn failed a polygraph test, not admissible. The jury won't hear that, which doesn't mean anything to me. And after she failed, she admitted to hitting John over the head. During one of the interviews, Devyn asked that the recording be turned off per the detective, and that's when she said she put John's head in a laundry basket and took it with her. So, did you hang up the call? Okay. Thank you, sweetie. So apparently that was what was discussed. Now listen, we've watched quite a few trials in these last couple months, all right? And we've seen interrogations done not well at all. We've seen some good ones. I like to keep a fair, thought about it, because it is very easy for someone who is being interviewed or investigated in the interrogation. Police have to be very careful on how they say things or put pressure on people. I mean, we've watched a few interviews in court, particularly those regarding the ones that were in the Crystal Rogers case. Like, I'm sorry, but that was not good. It was not good at all. As a matter of fact, it wasn't good. So that's what they say. That doesn't mean that that's fact. It doesn't mean any of that. But if so, yikes. Yikes. So anyway, that was our update there. Now, apparently this detective, also according to Kathy, is the one that'll be on the stand this afternoon. So it sounds like we're going to be hearing some interviews of her, whether or not we hear all 6 or what's going to be taken out from them. We don't know. So don't know on that. First of all, let me find the trial. There we go. We got the seal up. All right. I don't have it muted. Also, yes, because it's a new stream, please hit the like button. Really appreciate it. Helps us out a lot. Lets people know that we're live. And it'll pop up in their little algorithms, and maybe we'll get new friends, because who doesn't love new friends? I do. Hi, Kelly. Hi. Hope you're doing well. Oh, boy, you guys. I am just, it's been a day. It's been a long day. But I'm very excited about that. So let's see what else. I feel like there was like something I was like, oh, I forgot to say that in the last stream. That's what always happens, right? That's what always happens every time. Girl, has it not been a long week and it's only Wednesday? Like it's only Wednesday. What is happening? What is happening? Oh yes, also make sure you turn that notification bell on. You have to like go to the channel and click like all or something like that, so you don't miss when like we go live or drop an episode for things, because a lot of stuff is happening around these parts and will be for the next couple of months. Some things are kind of changing, but they'll be back. It's just we do a lot during a break for the holidays, not only to spend time with our fam, because as you see, we do a lot here all of the time. So it's also kind of a break for us to like regather and like group up. But we'll still be doing a lot of member only stuff. Couch Court, I'm not going to be doing any more trials for the rest of this year for sure. I can't. I don't have the time, to be quite honest, with the holidays, shopping, orchestra stuff, school things like that, plus everything else I have to do. So I did have to make a call early, and this will be my last trial for the year. But Couch Court, we're still going to do stuff together. I don't know exactly what that is or what that looks like. That's on my list of things to do this weekend, but you'll still be, we're not going anywhere. I promise we're not going anywhere. We just pull back a little bit during, the holidays and everything like that. So you mean you want to have a life? Well, I don't know about that. I didn't have one really to begin with. But no, I do have a lot of other commitments in, stuff I have to do during this time, but we'll still hang out. Lady and Grace says, are we still going to have Llama Learns though? Absolutely we are. The only 2 weeks where there will not be like any lives is the week of Thanksgiving and the week of Christmas. For sure. I can guarantee you those 2 weeks will have no lives. Maybe some like pre-recorded drop stuff, like the week of Christmas, Devil in the Bay will still premiere as it normally will on Tuesdays at 8. But we'll still be doing member-only content. Actually, with Llama Learns, I thought about even maybe doing like a public one sometime too, if people are interested in that. I think I'm going to start covering some true crime news and updates like that. I don't know what we're going to get into. I got a lot of planning to do this weekend, which I love planning. I love planning. It's one of my favorite things because, like, when you have so much going on, right? It's like putting together a puzzle. And so then I put together this puzzle. And then when it comes to a specific date where that thing has to happen, I yell at past Llama for being so ambitious and curse her because she's not here today doing it. No, no, no. She signed us up for crazy stuff 3 weeks ago. Anybody else like that? Or like, yeah, that sounds great. Or like before you go to bed, you make your to-do list and be like, look at me. I'm going to have a productive day. And then you wake up in the morning and you're like, no, not doing it. Oh, yes, the countdown is on for the holidays. Yes, even though, as I said, we won't have lives the week of Thanksgiving, we'll be dropping some pre-recorded stuff. And one of those things for Thanksgiving is Terry's doing a midday missing special with Eric, who runs a foundation. Oh, crap, I kind of forgot the details there. So sorry. But she's recording it with this weekend and she'll drop that for everyone as well. Little Llama, can you please let Zoe out? This is another reason why I usually don't do like afternoon evening shows because my house turns into chaos. So that's fun. Love that. Hold on. Sorry, I had to first name him. Thanks, sweetie. Yeah, I thought about doing a public Llama Learns. Why not? So we'll still be hanging out. Thank you, Terry. Thank you. Eric is from Angel's Voices, Silent No More. I'm very excited to watch her interview with this. So that'll be very exciting. That's going to be the Wednesday of Thanksgiving. So that'll be excited. Did you get a membership, Angie? Oh my gosh, I didn't know that. I don't know. There was a lot of membership gifting happening. I'm not sure. I couldn't like read them all out loud because court was still happening. But it was a membership bonanza. So yeah, those of you that just are realizing that you have memberships that you may have been gifted to today, on Monday is our member appreciation stream for all of our members, where we like to give back to the community that supports us because it means like literally everything. So we do giveaways, special, announcements, ahead of time announcements, sneak peeks, things like that. I don't really know what all we have in store Monday. The lovely Terry's been putting it together, so I'm sure it's going to be awesome and amazing. So that'll be Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern for our members only. All members are invited to that. So, oh, hey, Sam. Hey, babes. Hope you're doing well. Oh, I know, right? Those pesky little same girl. My past version of me, too. It's just, she's annoying. Like, gosh, it'll be fun. Lots of pink glitter, I suppose. Oh, sorry. But yeah, we'll have more of a lockdown on what y'all can expect from us during the rest of November and December. So I'm pretty excited about that. Because listen, I am one of those, I hate shopping for Christmas. I do. I hate it. And me and Elbow Feet are really late at it. We're really bad and really late at it. So I'm going to try to need to be better this year. Are we having TMI on Friday? Yes, we'll be having TMI for all members this Friday and the 21st. But there will not be a TMI for the Friday after Thanksgiving. So that won't be happening that week. But yes, that's the only times we won't be having that. So Very excited about that. Yes, that's true. The lovely Terry True Crime does have to, that's another reason for some things that'll be being pulled back a little earlier than we intended, but the lovely Terry does have to have surgery in December again. So we had to make some adjustments to some of our shows. But that's okay. That's okay. It's all fine. We'll still be around doing all sorts of things. So, and who knows? Terry might just do a live anytime she feels like it. And we might even just, a few weeks ago, Terry was just like, I don't want to work. And so she just did a rando live about nothing where we just hung out and talked. So we might even just do some of those as well, just to, it's just much more manageable. So don't worry. You'll still get plenty of us, I promise. Maybe you'll go live with pain meds. Girl, you don't remember the month of June or August, but I do. But I do. We all do. Never forget when Terry tried to write a story for True Crime and Wine Time. And the lovely Captain, bless her, read it and was just like, oh boy, oh, this is bad. This is like, what is even happening? I don't think we saved a copy of that. We should have, though, because that would have been hilarious to just read, because it was something. I was gonna say it was so yeah, you remember nothing. We do. So do you have a copy of the one you want? Oh, or the one you wrote there? That's hilarious. It was a mess. But yeah, so anywho, I don't know why court isn't back yet. Rude. Surely it's not going to be delayed too much. They do have the seal up, and they did not have the seal up this whole break. So yes, I mean, maybe we will get Terry on painkillers. Who knows? It's always fun. Captain was like, what? How did you? How? Just how? I love it. Oh, yes, that's right. Thank you. Yes, on the prize wheel. So for members only, if you haven't, or for the member appreciation stream, we do several different giveaways that all involve a prize spinning wheel, because Llama loves her spinning wheels. Let me tell you what, I got all the different spinning wheels. I love them. And one of the, well, actually, we have quite a few very special things that we're giving away. Some books, important books, great books, some by people we've had on the show before. Another one specifically about a case. Can I say, Taryn? Can I say what those books are? I don't know if I can or not. I don't know if I'm allowed. But yeah, so that'll be fun. It's always a good time. And spinning wheels. Who doesn't love spinning wheels? I don't know why. I just have a thing. Yes, Kelly. Yes, you did. You won a copy of Beverly Hills Noir by a good friend of the channel, author Scott Hoover. He writes books, People Magazine, all sorts of true crime stuff as well. Oh, we're back, and that was loud. Oh my. It's not on my end. So I was listening to the music. I'm locking up. And we do have a couple of books in this Oh, and there's Terry with an update. The books went out today, along with everything else being shipped or ordered. Fantastic.
All right for the jury.
Oh, I meant to show a picture of Lady Anne Gray's merch that she got. Hey, Lady Gray, do you care if I share the picture you put in Discord of your coffee cup and phone stand? I'm going to put your guys' chat on there too. By the way, if you guys haven't yet, join our Discord server, the Courtyard, because we know we're going to be streaming a bunch of stuff during that Thanksgiving break. I know I'll be in there watching stuff, as will other people, so hop on board and join our Discord.
You see that, Your Honor, the jury's all present and accounted for.
That is where everybody will be hanging out. Break.
Devyn Michaels, and the record reflects that Ms. Michaels is present and her attorney, Deputy District Attorney, on behalf of the state, and both parties give this in the presence of one jury.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Steve, you may call your next witness.
Janice Ozawa.
Thank you, Your Honor.
There we go. Okay. Thanks, Alex. Nope. Nope, I can't. Well, I guess it kind of did, but I don't know. It wasn't there the other day, and now it is. So we just
Please solemnly swear affirm the testimony you're about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
And officer, could you please state your full name and then spell it for the record?
Full name is Dennis Ozawa. First name Dennis, last name Ozawa.
Whenever you're ready, state.
Thank you. Sir, what do you do for a living?
Currently a detective with the Henderson Police Department.
How long have you been a detective with Henderson?
Approximately 8, or a detective, approximately 10 years.
And how long have you been in your current assignment?
Approximately 8.
What is your current assignment?
I'm with the Crimes Against Persons Unit.
And what does that entail generally?
For the Crimes Against Persons Unit, it entails we investigate a wide variety of violent crimes in the city of Henderson, to include robberies, kidnappings, shootings, death investigations, Austin-Ball shootings, and homicides also.
And so you've been doing that for 8 years. What were you doing in the 2 years prior as a detective?
I was a fraud detective prior,
And what were you doing prior to that?
patrol officer.
How long were you a patrol officer approximately?
Approximately 10 years.
During the course of your career, sir, have you received numerous trainings on law enforcement best practices?
Correct.
And during the course of your career, have you responded to hundreds of crime scenes?
Correct.
In your 8 years with homicide, have you ever responded to a decapitation case prior to this case?
I have not.
Fair to say that this particular investigation was a large one,
Yes.
entailing many supports personnel such as crime scene analysts, other detectives from homicide, and actually some other detectives from other units called in to assist in the investigation.
That is correct.
In this particular case, did you get called out to a homicide at 2698 Paladura on August 7th, 2023?
I did.
Do you remember around what time you were called out?
I believe it was approximately in 9:40 is when we were notified.
9:40 in the morning?
Correct.
And what time was the actual call for service, sir?
I believe it was approximately 8:40 in the morning.
Who was the person reporting?
Yoko Willette.
What was the general information you received before responding to the scene?
From what we were told, that from dispatch, that Yoko had called in, advised that she had found her son, Johnathan Willette, in his bedroom, and he was all bloody, and believes that he was dead at that time.
And so, is it fair to assume that fire and first responders went out to the scene before you did?
Yes,
And it was confirmed that Johnathan was in fact deceased?
that is correct.
Did you say the victim's full name for the record?
Johnathan Willette.
Once you arrive at the scene, you get called out around 9:40. What happens when you arrive?
When we arrive, when we, meaning our Crimes Against Person Unit plus the crime scene analysts, we start to show up. As soon as we all arrive, we're waiting for a brief from the supervisor who's on scene. And then once we're there, he provides the brief, basically kind of explain what they did as far as entering the house, any observations that they made at that point, and then the fact that they had probably talked to Yoko, and then we found out about another person that was there at the time with Yoko. I believe his name was Masao Yoshida, that they were the only two there at the house. And then when which the supervisor at that time was Sergeant Shields, who we had spoke with to give us the brief.
Okay. Once you get your briefing from Sergeant Shields, is there a quick walkthrough done of the scene?
That's correct.
In addition to that, did you assign various investigators to different tasks in and around the scene?
That is correct.
Was witness canvassing conducted?
Yes.
What does that mean for the jury?
For witness canvassing, we have other detectives kind of walk around the neighborhood and knock on doors, see if anybody heard or seen anything that night. And then for us, we're going to be talking to the witnesses that were on scene at that time too.
During the course of the witness canvassing, did you learn of any witness who suggested that they heard a gunshot any time during our operative time period?
No,
Was there video canvassing done as well?
that is correct.
What does video canvassing generally entail?
Typically it's in the same way where we have detectives go out, knock on doors, and try to find out if anybody has any video surveillance attached to their residence, and if they captured any kind of footage that would be beneficial to our investigation.
And those detectives who do that, are they documenting what they find?
That's correct.
And then ultimately, you as the lead investigator, do you receive that documentation?
Correct.
And then is it your responsibility to then transfer that documentation into an overall report so the lawyers in a murder trial can actually see what was done and who did it, and et cetera?
That is correct.
In this particular case, was the entire investigation documented under Henderson Police Department event number 23-15229?
Yes.
During the course of the video canvassing, did you learn that there were some people who had cameras that were not initially contacted?
Can you rephrase that?
So, well, let me ask it in an easier way. Did the video canvassing occur over the course of several days?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So maybe not all done on day one, but there's
Yes,
follow-up and stuff that's occurring.
Yeah, as the investigation continued, we continued to try and look for more video surveillance throughout the investigation.
All right. So let's talk about the scene generally. I want to start with the outside. What did you observe outside, I mean, vehicles or anything of note?
So when I arrived, I observed that the area being the actual residence, had been taped off with crime scene tape. There was a white truck parked out in front with a trailer attached to it. That it was parked on the wrong side of the road, which then that kind of brought notice to us that also the trailer was kind of out a little bit into the road, which in our eyes, or in my opinion, looked like someone was there for a quick trip, not someone that wanted to park there and leave it there overnight. There was also a cone that was in the driveway that we later found out that was indicated that patrol believed that there was possibly a blood mark right there. And then the garage had actually been partially open from the bottom.
And in addition to the truck with the trailer, there was also a small sedan out front, correct?
Correct. And that was parked across the street.
And ultimately, did you determine who was the owner of that vehicle?
We did.
Who was that?
A female named Andrea Reyes, who then we discovered was an ex-girlfriend who recently broke up with our victim, Johnathan Willette.
Based on the fact that her vehicle was out front at the home, was she a person of interest initially?
Correct.
Did you do follow-up investigation to include obtaining her call detail records as well as interviewing her?
That's correct.
Do you remember which detective interviewed Andrea?
It would have been Detective Lionel.
Okay. Without getting into her statement, that would be hearsay, but like, did you learn anything of big evidentiary value related to Andrea?
Not from Andrea. We learned that we had been told that she was in another state at the time. Was in question. And then after talking to her, we found out that she confirmed that. And then with the records that we got from her phone later, confirmed that she was in a different state at the time that we were looking at.
Okay, but nonetheless, you look into it, her car's out front, you gotta check your boxes, right?
That's correct.
Did you, describe the actual scene walkthrough when you go inside. What do you remember about it?
So when we go in through the front door, to get, I guess, a little descriptive, you walk in, there's a flight of stairs that you go up that kind of takes you to a small den area, and then you have stairs off to the right side of us that take you up to the second floor. And then if you continue to move forward a little bit more, there's the kitchen area. And then to the right of that, you have to walk back down a few flights of stairs, which is where Johnathan Willette's bedroom, makeshift bedroom would be, because it's, I guess, technically a living room, but it's converted to like his bedroom. I believe there were some sheets that were kind of covering the entrance up. I guess we would say that it's using for privacy. And then once you walk down those stairs, you end up going into his bedroom. Can't see the bed where he was lying at that time because it's kind of tucked back in the corner. And then as you kind of move forward more into the room, you can see the bed, you see the blankets. You can't see him yet, and you don't see him or his body until you get closer to the front of the bed, and then you start to wrap around. Then at that point, you can start seeing the blood on the bed, blood stains, and then blood next to the bed at that point. And then when we get closer, or at least when I got closer, you could have that chemical smell that started burning your nose and your eyes at that time, which we were told from Sergeant Shields originally that was the same thing that they smelled. And I think they actually also mentioned that they had saw smoke coming from the body when they went through at their time. But there's also the chemical bottles that were observed in the hallway, ammonia, I believe it was bleach. And later on, we actually did search what, if you actually combine those together, what it does. It actually creates a toxic gas called chloramine. That was just something that was found out later. And then as you get, like I said, you got closer to the bed, you can see his body where it's just the top of his shoulders. The blanket was pulled up. And then you didn't see his head, obviously. His neck was severed. Blood was there on the blanket. And then we also noticed that there wasn't any blood spatter on the walls or on the ceiling. Just given the type of injury that we were seeing, you expect to probably see a little bit more blood in other places. And then just through that quick, brief walkthrough, I didn't see any weapons or any devices that were believed to be used that would have severed his head off at that time.
As a result of that very strong chemical smell, did the walkthrough get kind of cut short and you step out for a while?
That's correct.
Ultimately, you need to get a search warrant from a judge in order to actually do a thorough search, correct?
Correct.
And was that done in this case?
Yes,
Did you at some point on the scene interview Yoko?
we did.
Did you learn, according to Yoko, who was the last person to be with John while he was alive?
Yes, we did.
And who was that?
We discovered she had mentioned that a female name that she only knew as Nikki at the time, and said it was his ex that he had 2 kids with. But later on, we ended up finding out that her name was Devyn Michaels, or just a different name with Devyn Michaels.
And ultimately, does one of your other detectives obtain a phone number for Miss Michaels?
That is correct.
Is that 702-677-4430?
That is correct.
And was that Detective Pappas?
Yes,
Did Pappas contact her?
he did.
And was she asked to come back to the scene?
Yes, she was.
Did she arrive on the scene?
Yes.
With whom?
We believe the kids were with her at the time.
And what was she driving?
A Nissan Armada.
Did you
vehicle.
make contact with her down the street?
We did.
Did you and Detective Pappas conduct an interview with her?
We did.
If you could the jury's already heard it, so can you just give us a quick summary of what you learned of any potential value in that first interview?
So with our first interview, we just basically try to get we wanted to make it short, but try to get as much information as we could to follow up on later, given the fact that we were told that she was the last person to have seen him. So when we talked to her, a little suspicion that was raised because she wasn't very detailed on what she did with them that night, given what we were told from Yoko that approximately between 10 and 1 o'clock that Devyn was there with them. So when she first explained what they had done together, it was just school shopping the day prior, and then just kind of went into that they were loading things back and forth from the Paula Dura address to her address at 5510 Porcupine Rim, I believe is the address, and that they were basically just loading things and unloading things, and that's kind of what at first she told us at the beginning.
Okay, let me stop you and just ask a couple specifics.
Okay.
basically in this first interview, did she claim John was alive and smoking in the garage when she left?
Yes.
Was that inconsistent with what you had learned prior from Yoko?
That's correct.
Describe that.
So what we had learned from Yoko is that when Yoko advised that she had come down at approximately 1 o'clock in the morning, and this is already after she had spoken to John and Devyn prior to that, but she only had seen Devyn at that time around 1, and then Yoko advised that Devyn had told her that John was sleeping in the bedroom because he had been drinking already, and that they were planning on going in the next morning to take the kids to school,
Which we know
getting
is not
ready,
true.
and getting registered. So I think the next day, on the 7th, was actually first day of school that week. And then compared to what Devyn told us is that she had told us that John was awake in the garage at the time when she had left. So those statements were contradictory to each other.
Ultimately, you obtained that warrant from the judge, correct?
Correct.
And did you execute a search warrant along with a whole lot of supporting detectives?
Correct.
During the course of the search warrant, the actual search, did you notice any particular items that were maybe missing from the scene or something you would expect at the scene that wasn't there?
Yes, close to when the search warrant was being completed, we were basically looking for a cell phone of Jonathan's, his wallet, and possibly the keys too, because we were interested in the truck. But that we did not find his truck keys or his wallet with his ID or his cell phone anywhere at the house.
Did you find anything in the scene that could potentially be a murder weapon?
We did not.
Any weapons or I guess I should say items in the scene that you felt could have been used to decapitate John?
We did not.
You mentioned the blood staining earlier, and I want to just get a couple more details. I believe you already said no blood on the walls or ceiling, correct?
Correct.
Have you been on crime scenes in the past in which there are gunshot injuries?
Yes.
Have you been on sharp force injuries or stabbing cases in the past?
Yes.
Blunt force injury cases?
Correct.
Sometimes single blunt force, sometimes multiple blunt force, correct?
That's correct.
When it comes to multiple blunt forces, would you expect to see some cast off?
That's correct.
Why is that?
From multiple blunt force trauma, when we say cast off, we say that after the first hit, which would cause the bleeding at that point, and then as the continued hits after the fact, the blood would be on whatever object that was striking the body or the head at this point, and it would have had cast off coming off the item, and you would have that somewhere on the walls or somewhere near where the strikes were occurring.
But that's not necessarily the case if you have a single.
For one single blow, no.
Did you find any firearms evidence at the scene?
No.
Based upon your review of the scene, did you determine that a gun was probably unlikely to have been used in the scene?
Yes, so basically since the fact that there were no bullet impact marks, there were no, like in the wall, there were no bullet impact marks that we saw in the mattress, no blood spatter from a bullet impact going through a body or a head was seen. Also the fact that Yoko and Yoshida didn't report that they heard a gunshot, and there were no phone calls coming from the neighborhood.
Yoko
that there was
just
a
said there
gunshot.
was a
There
loud
no
noise
reason
at
to
2
believe
o'clock
that
in the morning.
a gun was used in this incident.
There's not
As a
that.
result of that, are you generally kind of focused, narrowing your focus in on sharp or blunt weapons?
That is correct.
Not ignoring a gun if you come across it, but your focus, what you're really looking for is sharp or blunt.
At that time, yes.
Did you later learn that it was reported that a knife was missing from the scene?
That is correct.
Why else?
Based upon the blood patterning as you saw it, can you describe kind of some of your investigative deductions you got from the blood?
Me too, babes. Oh, I hope she does.
So when you got closer to the body and where you saw
need her to.
the blood on top of the actual mattress, you saw it there next to his body, and then you kind of saw some off on the side of the bed, and there was a little bit of pool of blood at the bottom on the carpet. Then when you look at it, you can kind of see there's certain voids in the blood. So when we round tabled it, talked together, it was kind of determined that, hey, there's probably something placed there, because where the blood was actually at, you could see, like I said, some voids. So where maybe a possible container was that possibly collected a lot of the blood, because even though there was a good amount of blood that was there on the scene, not as much as what you would believe, considering the type of injury that you saw with his head severed.
There's quite a bit.
Try not to ask this
Like a lot.
too morbid a way, but if you're assuming, or did you assume the decapitation occurred there in the scene?
That's correct.
If you're assuming that is the case, and the head finally is lopped off, if there's nothing under it, would you expect kind of a splash or a different patterning?
That is correct.
Did you notice whether there was a doggy door in the room?
Yes.
And what did you notice about that, or what deductions did you come to from that?
We were told that the doggy door was closed, which was unusual. When we were told by Yoko, and then when you saw where the doggy door was at, next to the slider, and you witnessed that it actually was still shut at the time.
Okay. As a result of the observations you made at the scene, did you or other detectives contact the defendant over the phone?
That's correct.
Was that you?
Yes, it was.
Okay, and same phone number we just mentioned a minute ago?
That's correct.
What was the content of that? Was that a short contact?
After our initial interview?
Yes.
Yes.
Was there something referenced about a Burlington coat factory?
Yes, so I had contacted Devyn again over the phone because we wanted to talk to her, ask more clarifying questions, and actually talk to Debbie also.
Who had Burlington
So
Coat
we
Factory
asked
on their
if she was
bingo
willing to
card.
meet. She said yes, and then we were going to head up to her place at 5510 Porcupine. During that conversation, she had mentioned that one of her daughters had actually told her that while they were school shopping at the Burlington Coat Factory, somebody a male had approached the daughter. I can't remember which one it was, but a male had approached the daughter and Johnathan at the Burlington Coat Factory and made the comment, I believe, "I'm coming to get you." So being that it's still early in the investigation, things that we need to investigate everything, as myself and Detective Skinner are driving to the Porcupine Rim address, we had another detective go to the Burlington Coat Factory that she said that they were at and review video surveillance from that place.
And what was learned during the course of that?
Not yet.
So the video surveillance was reviewed. I believe Detective Kondratovich, who then relayed to me that at no time did he see anybody approach John and his daughter, and it looked like there's any kind of confrontation at all with anybody at the store.
Okay, so something that the defendant mentions it, you attempt to verify it, there's no evidence of it, but you note it for your investigation.
Correct.
And then did you start heading toward the 5510 Porcupine Rim address?
Yes, sir.
Who'd you go with?
Detective Skinner.
As you arrived on scene, did you notice any trash cans out front?
Yes.
In
Throughout
addition-
the neighborhood.
Throughout the neighborhood?
Correct.
Okay. In addition to noting it's trash day and there's trash cans throughout the neighborhood, did you notice anything as you approached the actual home?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So when we're approaching her house, her vehicle, the Nissan Armada, is parked on the left side of the driveway. And at that time, Devyn was already outside. It looks like she was taking things from her car back to the house. So then we follow her up the driveway. And as walking up the driveway, I see a black cell phone on the ground in a spot that typically you wouldn't see a cell phone just sitting on the floor. So I take note of that, and it looked like it was either dropped or left there. But at this point in time, we know that we're still missing John's cell phone, so the possibility that could be a cell phone. Take note. I let Detective Skinner know that also, and then we continue to follow Devyn inside the house.
And just so we're clear, as you're walking up, I'm not going to pull the photos up, but you said the defendant's vehicle is on the left
Correct.
of the driveway, parked nose in, facing the home.
That is correct.
Where is the cell phone in relation to her car?
It would have been close to the garage on the driver's side of the vehicle and near the like rock landscape that's on the outside of the driveway.
The vehicle meaning the Nissan Armada?
The Nissan Armada.
On the
correct.
driver's side?
Correct.
Okay. Why is it that you don't go pick it up right there and you just take note of it and talk to Skinner about it?
Because at that point, we want to be able to talk to Devyn and Devyn, and we want to be able to not have them know that we have that phone at that point, because we're not sure if it is John's phone, and if it is, then obviously our interviews are going to be different when we talk to them. So if it's actually evidence that we're going to need or use, it's going to be something that we want before we can talk to them and get more information from them. We don't want it to basically have them use that information also now to come up with different, a story, I guess, per se,
Okay.
with us.
And as a homicide investigator, you are aware that you can't just go seizing evidence without a warrant, correct?
Correct.
And so even if you wanted to, you couldn't just walk up and seize the cell phone at that time. You would have to get a judge to sign off on an actual search.
That's correct.
To get into it.
Did you
not
make
to pick it up.
contact with Devyn?
Yes.
Where was that? Was it out front, inside? Do you remember?
Initially inside the house, and then I conducted an interview with him inside my vehicle.
And did you conduct a recorded interview?
That is correct.
Audio recorded?
Yes.
Did you notice anything about Devyn as you began to talk to him?
When we entered my vehicle, there was a heavy odor of alcohol that I detected, and then he actually apologized in the interview at the beginning, saying that he had actually been drinking since he had gotten home, and said he was sorry that he was basically possibly intoxicated.
Did he say why he started drinking when he got home?
Basically because of the news that he found out about his dad being deceased.
And you've spoken to dead people's next of kin and families many times in your career.
That is correct.
Was that out of the world of reasonableness for you, or what?
No, obviously I told him that, hey, I understand what you're saying, or why you've been drinking. It's people mourn in different ways, and that is one way that people mourn.
And also, it is not uncommon for people who commit
Nonetheless,
murder
even though he's
to
been
then
drinking, you still want to talk to
turn
him and ask him some questions.
drugs
That is
or
correct.
alcohol
And you did
right
that?
afterwards.
Yes.
Again, the jury has gone through a lot of evidence before you testified, so I'm going to just hit a couple of points, and you correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Generally, did Devyn say he had been home all day the day before?
That is correct.
Did he actually
That's cute.
initially say, I was working, and kind of correct himself and be like, wait, is yesterday Sunday, that kind of thing?
My
That is
son
correct.
brought me a drawing.
So he corrected
I
himself.
don't know if you can
Yes.
see it.
And then he says he was home the day before, meaning
I
August
think it's like a little
6th.
monster
That
thing.
is correct.
And did he indicate that he was home the night before watching the girls?
Yes.
Did he, in your opinion, minimize the sexual relationship with the defendant?
He did.
And just generally, I'm not going to hold you to precise numbers, but was Devyn a bit younger than the defendant?
He was.
There was a question asked with a prior witness. It might be out of left
True,
field
but
with
she
you, I want
did
to ask.
also
There
do,
was kind of a
do that to
suggestion
the whole
made that
body, so.
Devyn in this
would
interview
think so,
had
too.
mentioned that cell phone in the driveway. Is that accurate?
I don't know how you don't
Did he
get
say
thumb
anything
blood on your
about the cell
clothes. So.
No, as I kind of stated previously, we didn't want to bring up the cell phone, and the fact that we had found it or seen it, just because we wanted to get information from him without kind of any evidence that he would know about at that time.
Okay, so any suggestion made earlier, unintentionally probably, that Devyn brought up that cell phone in the driveway, that did not happen?
No,
Okay.
not in that interview.
Devyn at home during the time frame indicate that he worked the next morning and learned of his dad's death via phone calls from family and stuff?
That is correct.
I'm not going to go into too much detail on the phones because we have other witnesses to do that, but ultimately you did get his CDRs, correct?
Correct.
Did those CDRs confirm or refute his claim that he was home last night?
They confirmed his statement.
With the video canvassing, that was done at Porcupine Rim and Paladar, correct?
Correct.
Was there any video in the area of Porcupine Rim that depicted Devier's vehicle or vehicles moving away from the scene?
No.
And while you were talking to Devier, did Detective Skinner talk to the two young girls?
That's correct.
Okay. Did you conduct an interview with the defendant, Ms. Michaels, prior to executing the search warrant on Porcupine Rim?
Yes.
During the course of that interview, does something beep and draw your attention?
Yeah. During that second interview with Devyn, there was a Republic Services trash truck that had driven by and honked its horn and picking up the trash through the neighborhood.
At some point during that second interview, did the girls approach the vehicle?
That is correct.
Describe that.
It was close towards the end of the interview, and one of the daughters came up and she was holding a black cell phone in her hand. When we rolled down the window, they basically were saying, "Hey, mommy, this is daddy's cell phone. This is the reason why you can't get a hold of him." So then she hands the phone to Devyn, who then we take the phone from her, then it's given to Detective Skinner. And then basically Devyn confirms that cell phone does belong to Johnathan at that point.
Did you note anything particular about the cell phone itself?
Yeah, and then we discover that on the cell phone, the screen is cracked, and then there's apparent blood on the screen at that time.
After this, do you end up getting that search warrant through a judge for the Porcupine Rim address?
Yes,
And did that include the Porcupine Rim address itself as well as the cars?
that is correct.
All the vehicles?
All vehicles. on
Nothing
scene.
much yet.
Did that
I'm gonna be getting
include,
some Devyn's interviews here
A
soon.
work van?
Yes.
And Your Honor, we had missed these earlier, so I believe there's a stipulation to 653 to 658 as well as 659.
Okay, so 653 to 659?
Yes.
Okay, 653 to 659, are we admitted?
Did you yourself conduct a search warrant on the work truck?
I did not myself.
Just going to show you, though, these are part of your investigative file, correct? 653,
Correct.
654, correct?
Correct.
655,
Yes.
656,
Yes.
657,
Yes.
658.
Yes.
And do you remember who searched that vehicle?
I believe it was Detective Lionel and Detective Christopher.
And then there was also crime scene analyst documenting stuff, correct?
That is correct.
Were there any bloody weapons, tools, or anything of that nature found within that vehicle?
No.
Was the small sedan also searched?
That is correct.
Was there anything of note or evidentiary value associated with that?
There was not.
Did you note how the van was parked in relation to the car? Not the Nissan Armada yet, but the small sedan.
The work van that Devier said that he was the one using, yeah, it was parked partially in front of the Honda Civic. And we just kind of took note of that. It's strange because there was a lot more room on the street to be able to park to where there wouldn't be any reason why you would block the vehicle.
Was the Nissan Armada searched on scene or no?
Not on scene, no.
Was it sealed on scene?
Correct.
States 250, is that the Nissan?
It is.
And 248, is that a different angle of the Nissan?
That's correct.
So earlier you were describing where that cell phone with blood and cracked screen was found. Is it over here to the left in this photo?
That would be correct.
Further off?
Close to the rock landscape off there.
Got it. Did you observe anything about the Nissan itself?
When you first looked at the Nissan, it looked freshly cleaned on the outside, like it had been ran through one of the car washes that you just drive through, because it was clean, but yet you could still see like the water stain marks on it still.
251, this is a better photo that actually shows the rock. So it was over, was it this way more toward the driver's door, or?
Sorry.
Don't click or the judge will yell at you.
Okay.
We'll be on break while we.
You can toggle over, but don't click.
So it would have been somewhere around this area right here.
Okay. And for the record, you're just pointing to the small gap of rocks we can see in 251.
That is correct. Yes. That Nissan Armada was searched later at the lab, correct? Correct.
Anything of evidentiary value that was found within the vehicle?
No.
Did you obtain a search warrant for the Nissan Armada's infotainment center?
We did.
And did you execute that warrant and one of your detectives pull the infotainment system with data out of it?
That is correct.
Ultimately, did you review that pretty thoroughly?
Yes.
That data associated with that?
Correct.
Was there anything of note related to that as well as the victim's phone?
In reference to the actual information taken from the vehicle, we got location data from there. So it showed from when it left Porcupine Rim and then went back to Paula Dura, and then we had it leaving Paula Dura middle of the night around 2:04, I believe, and then heading back to Porcupine Rim. And then with our, are you saying about our victim's cell phone?
Yes.
Later on, we were able to figure out that his cell phone had left the same time as the vehicle, which for us would say that Devyn was in possession of his cell phone at the time when it went back to the Porcupine Rim address.
Did you also, in addition to all the vehicles, search the home at Porcupine Rim?
Correct.
I want to show you 659. Can't remember if we had marked this earlier, so I just added it. Do you see some samurai swords here?
For
That is correct.
Lovelace and
Anything of note
Higher.
about those?
There was no blood that we saw on there, and they look like movie prop replica.
Oh, the swords.
Souvenir type samurai swords.
So nothing of no blood on the blades at all, correct?
I don't remember specifically on the blades, but I just know that when I was told there was no blood found on
Okay. On
Sam-
them?
on them.
Okay. Garage. Do you go into the garage at some point?
Yes.
Do you, does somebody find some ring cameras?
Yes.
And do you remember where those were found?
I believe they were in a bag on top of one of the trash cans.
Did you inspect those for an SD card or like an internal storage device?
That is correct.
Did you find one?
We did not.
Did you obtain a search warrant for the footage from Ring associated with those cameras?
We did.
And what did you do with that?
After we submitted the search warrant to Ring to get any video from that actual system, waited for the records, and then we were advised from Ring, which I believe is Amazon actually. 'cause
No, my
they're
dogs
owned
are
by
not barking.
Amazon,
My dogs
advising
don't really
that there
bark.
was no actual video recordings available.
Did they have any information to give you?
I believe it was just a subscriber info, which I can't remember if it came back to Johnathan or to the actual house.
Okay, but subscriber info is just paper.
Correct.
Saying who has the account.
Exactly. Who was in charge of the account?
There was no video footage with those cameras,
No.
according to Ring, or Amazon, I guess.
Correct.
At some point during the execution of the warrant, did somebody find the victim's wallet and keys wrapped in plastic baggies in a female underwear drawer?
That is correct.
You took note of that as well.
We did.
Was there ever a white female tank top found during the execution of the warrant?
There was not.
Any black and white Nikes with a large white swoosh along the side?
We did not.
Why were the keys important if they were?
The keys that were found inside the bag that was tucked away, hidden in the drawer, were important due to the fact that they were the truck keys to Jonathan's vehicle. So
Did you learn something after the arrest of the defendant related to those keys?
basically those were the only set of truck keys that we had for the Jonathan's truck.
So did you then go in and release that item of evidence to Yoko so that she could do what she wanted to do with the truck?
That is correct. She had reached out to me asking for the keys because there was another set of keys for her to use.
And I should ask you, during the execution of the warrant back at Paladura, was there ever a set of spare Chevy truck keys found anywhere in that search warrant?
There was not.
During the course of the Porcupine Rim search warrant, did somebody locate a social security card?
Yes.
Was that of any relevance to you?
Not really any relevance. She had told us that Jonathan had given it to her, and it was found in her purse, which she did say that she had in her purse.
Okay. Is it a fair deduction that if someone wanted to make changes to custody or school paperwork, they may need
Yes.
The
They would
Social
need social
Security
security card, probably the ID, and any other kind of identifying information for that person.
Did you locate guns inside the home?
We did.
I believe you previously
The tank
testified
top
that
and
it
the
seemed to appear
shoes,
consistent
but
with
I don't know about
gunshot,
the
but
shoes.
Do you take note, document all those guns, et cetera?
Correct. Pictures are taken and documented of the weapons that we found.
But her short sleeve found.
Like we said earlier, there was no evidence at that point to say that a gun was used, so they were just noted and documented.
And ultimately, at this particular scene, are there 11 electronic devices that are taken and later analyzed by digital forensics?
That is correct.
One being the victim's phone that was in the driveway.
Yes.
Was one of them Devier's device?
Correct.
Another one, the defendant's device?
Correct.
And then any other electronic devices you or anybody else found during the search warrant?
That is correct.
After the search warrant is conducted, or while it's still going on, do you conduct what'll be the third interview with the defendant?
Yes.
During the course of that interview, were you receiving information from your fellow detectives that were still inside?
That's correct.
One of those things being they found the wallet, the ID, the keys, and that?
Yes.
Did you ask the defendant during this third interview about whether John's wallet would be at her house?
I did.
What did she say?
I had asked her, I think I actually had asked her if she knew where John's wallet was at, and she had told me no.
Okay. Did you then go a little bit further and ask her about, or I guess confront her with the fact that you had found it in the house?
We did.
And what did she say about that?
Then she had mentioned that she had multiple wallets of his with other IDs in it when we confronted her about also the ID. And then we had also talked to her, basically confronting her about that. Well, it's the most current ID. Why would you have that? And she really didn't have an answer for us for that.
I'm going to ask you a very important but specific question. Who is it in this interview that talks about the wallet being wrapped in plastic bags?
She was, Devyn.
So she volunteered
The
that.
defense's
is
defense
correct.
is that it
You
was
did not tell
Devier,
her the wallet
Not
was found
Devyn.
wrapped in plastic bags.
We did not.
but I don't know what's going on either.
Did you ask her, or you or Skinner ask her about the timing of when this would have allegedly been tied in the plastic bags?
We did.
And what was the response, or what did you take from that?
What she had told us, with the keys for the truck being in the plastic bag, her time frame wasn't making sense, just due to the fact that she had told us that when Johnathan had given her the bag and then had dumped stuff in there with the wallet and the keys, it was between the time frame of 8 and 9 o'clock, and then they had still driven from Paladura back to the Porcupine Rim house. And so at that point, she said, when we went back to that house, that's when I had put the plastic bag in my drawer, and then we drove back to Paladura, which we know now also that couldn't have been possible since it was his
Nope.
truck keys that were actually in there. So that couldn't have been the time frame that he had given her all that stuff.
Also true.
Did you attend John's autopsy?
I did.
Did you notice the obvious very large neck injury?
Yes, I did.
Other than that, were there any bleeding injuries on John's body at all?
There was not.
I want to go back to video surveillance for a moment. It's fair to say that dozens and dozens of homes and businesses were canvassed for surveillance.
That is correct.
And there are lots of hours of footage and data to comb through.
Yes,
You, I would presume, can't do that all yourself, correct?
that is correct.
That's their
And
defense.
so
That was their
we
opening.
previously had a detective testify about a lot of that, but I just want to hit a couple of points with you, okay?
Okay.
You are generally familiar with the surveillance,
Generally, yes.
generally. So was there footage taken from a Terrible's near the Paladura address?
Yes, there was.
Did that footage show the defendant and John alone leaving the store around 10:11 p.m.?
It did.
Was there a bunch of footage taken from the Paladura neighborhood itself?
There was.
Was there footage from 2699 Fan Palm?
Yes, there was.
And do you remember if that one was a fixed camera?
I believe, yeah, it was a fixed camera that recorded constant.
We're all
recording.
having
Was
issues with that
did
lady.
that show the victim's truck arriving in the neighborhood about 10:12
It's
p.m.?
very
I believe
problematic.
so, yes.
And that would have been consistent with the distance from the Chevron?
It would be.
So if they leave Chevron at 10:11, it's real close by.
Correct. The Chevron was located just around the corner from their house.
2696 Paladura, was there footage from that?
Yes.
And was that, if you're facing the homicide scene, is that the home to the right?
Yes, it would be.
Okay. Was there a clip of that that you observed that showed the headlights arriving consistently around that time the Chevron video ends and all of that?
That's correct.
And that showed two shadows getting out, what appeared to be the truck?
That would be correct, yes.
Around 11 a.m., 11 p.m., was there footage from that camera showing a figure put something in the Nissan, turn it on, and then move it forward a little bit?
Correct.
And then based on where you know that the truck was the next morning, did it appear that the Nissan moved nose to nose with that truck?
It would have, yes.
And fair to say that once it goes off screen, you can't actually see it.
No.
That same camera, was there an activation at 2:04 a.m.?
Yes,
And does that depict generally the Nissan backing up and leaving?
that is correct.
Video from Porcupine Rim. So we're moving now to Porcupine Rim. Was there one, or a couple of videos that showed Devier's work van parked behind the sedan?
Yes,
And did it appear that work van stayed in the same spot from night to morning?
that is correct.
Was there video taken from 6505 Taylor Creek?
Yes,
And was that a motion activated camera?
that was.
Did it appear to you that the motion settings or the sensitivity was kind of weak on that one?
Yeah, and I believe I was told that it only activated when there's some kind of movement around the front of the house.
The house itself that it's on?
Yes.
Okay.
the-
Okay. 6621 Gray Jupiter, was there a fixed camera on that?
Correct.
And was that one continuous recording and not motion activated?
It was.
And is that positioned essentially at the only vehicle entrance and exit to the neighborhood?
That is correct.
Does that show the victim's truck leaving at 9:29 p.m. on the 6th?
Approximately, yes.
Does it also show the defendant's Nissan Armada entering the neighborhood at 2:39 a.m.
That is correct.
Does it also show Devier's work van leaving at 7:31 a.m. for the first time?
It does.
There's a road that's behind the Porcupine Rim address. Is that Rebecca?
I believe so.
Was there any video surveillance at the Rebecca Road? Did you canvass that?
I did.
Was there any video surveillance on Rebecca Road?
No.
There's also a CVS that was mentioned.
That's correct. Devyn had told us that when she left the Polidor address, she had driven home, but prior to getting home, she went to pick up her, I think, child's prescription at the CVS. And then she gave us the specific place that, the specific address to the CVS.
And you follow up on that?
I did.
And was there video showing the defendant in the drive-through prescription line at 2:28 a.m.?
Correct.
Was there anyone else seen inside the vehicle other than the defendant?
We did not see anybody else in the vehicle.
But if that was the same tank she wore during both things, which they're saying it is,
At some
How does
point
she
in
not get
time,
blood in
you
her
and your
car?
fellow
I'm just
detectives
saying.
make the decision to arrest the defendant, correct?
just saying.
Correct.
After her arrest, is there another interview conducted by detectives Christopher and Linau?
That is correct.
Okay. You did not witness that, so
I
you
just
can't
wanna,
speak to that,
I
correct?
just
did
want
not.
to hear the interviews.
Did you receive from them, without saying what it is, but did you receive from them after the interview like a one-page handwritten drawing?
Correct.
After that, do you conduct a whole bunch of follow-up investigation and start receiving information and analyzing it?
That is correct.
I want to talk about the Burla real quick. Burla being the Nissan Armada's infotainment.
You did a typo and it says
Did
anus.
that particular item of evidence show pinpoint GPS tracking?
It did.
And did that suggest that the defendant's Nissan
Mascot's in your name.
Armada left the scene at Paladura at 2:04 a.m.?
It did.
Did you also do a whole bunch of follow-up with call detail records?
We did.
And I believe you mentioned this previously, you obtained the CDRs for Andrea
Yeah.
Reyes.
And no
Yes.
blood in the car.
Did those rule her out?
They did.
And those showed her up in a remote area far away from the scene?
Yeah, I believe in Oregon.
Did you obtain call detail records for the victim's phone?
We did.
And would that be phone number 702-561-9242?
Correct.
I'll allow
That's
it,
not
Terry.
I believe
After I'm
so.
done eating, I'm going to pour one.
Those call detail records for Jonathan's phone, did they suggest that his phone kind of went inactive after around 11 p.m. on the 6th?
That is correct.
And then they show that that phone pops up at Porcupine Rim the next morning.
It did.
Did you also obtain Google data separate from the CDRs for Jonathan's device?
That's correct.
And is that what you mentioned earlier, that at 2:04 a.m. it showed traveling the same track as the defendant?
That is correct.
Did you obtain CDRs or call detail records for the defendant's main device?
Yes.
Would that be 702-677-4430?
Yes.
And you yourself talked to her on that number, correct?
That is correct.
And was the CDRs on that consistent with what we've talked about with the Burla and the Google data?
Correct. They all matched up together.
Did you also obtain CDRs for Devier's device?
We did.
And was that 707-628-1336?
Yes.
There's a subscriber sheet that comes with that.
There is.
And there was a man, I believe it was Joseph Sands, listed as a subscriber.
He was.
Did you do any research into Joseph Sands and the address on the subscriber sheet?
Yeah. We discovered with that same address in, it was Vacaville, California. Also living there was a female named Arminthia Sands, which is what Devier told us that's his mom.
Okay, so the male name is Joseph Sands, but you do some research into that to determine if there's a Sands relation.
Yeah.
Did the location data in Devier's phone suggest that he was home all night at the Porcupine Rim residence and doesn't leave until he goes to work the next day?
That's correct.
Did you cause various items of evidence to be submitted to the forensic lab for further testing?
We did.
I want to talk to you about fingerprints real quick. Did anything of note come back on fingerprints for either the defendant or Devier at the Paladura residence?
No.
Did a couple of things come back for the victim at his own home and Yoko at her own home?
Correct, which
Was
we would
that-
expect.
Okay. With regard to DNA, did you obtain or were you able to obtain a search warrant for the defendant's buccal swab after her arrest?
That is correct.
And you can't just go swabbing people, you have to get a warrant for that, correct?
Correct.
Did you obtain a buccal swab search warrant for Devier?
We did not.
Why not?
That's when he had been ruled out as a suspect, and we didn't. There was no probable cause for us to actually get his DNA.
And we're going to have an expert talk about DNA results, but very basically, did you learn that the DNA on the knot of the plastic bags came back to the defendant?
Correct.
And then the DNA on the driveway blood at Paladura and the blood on the victim's phone at Porcupine Rim come back to the victim?
That is correct.
The detective, I'm almost done with you, just one little last line of questioning here. During the course of your investigation, you're receiving information consistently for an extended period of time, correct?
Yes.
And ultimately, your job is to try to put it all together and see where it all fits, correct?
That is correct.
Were you able to establish a timeline based upon all the evidence for the homicide?
We were.
And fair to say that a forensic pathologist, medical examiner, they're a little wishy-washy when it comes to timing death, correct?
You could say that, yes.
Okay. What did you conclude the time of death was for John?
So given all the evidence that we collected, phone data, and then the blood, the DNA, the stuff that came back to our victim, Johnathan, we kind of deduced that we know that he was last seen at the house at Paladura about 10:12 from Yoko and from Devyn telling us that, hey, yeah, Yoko saw him alive at about that time frame, 10 o'clock. And then we know that the last person to see him was Devyn, and that she left the house around 2 o'clock. And given the fact that we had the phone that had his blood on it, leaving the house at about 2:04, we know that definitely 2:04 was the end time. So between 10, I think it was like 10:12 when they arrived there, to 2:04 when she leaves, that would have been our time frame that we know the homicide would have occurred, given the fact that he didn't have any cuts on him. There was no other blood that would have been coming from Johnathan, except from when he was killed and then when his head was cut off. So that's how we can say that, yeah, the homicide would have occurred between that time frame.
Excuse me. If his phone wasn't turned off, why did it not track, like, you know, how they tracked her leaving the house and going to
That's what I was
CVS?
thinking.
Why did his not? Sorry. Try not to. I'm fine, I promise. You know how that goes. I'm just wondering, like, one, also, I was surprised there wasn't an objection, really, because, like, how do you know? I mean, yes, you can generalize it, but I don't know. I think that's a weird, the reason that the ME and them are wishy-washy about it is because they don't know. So therefore, they're not going to give a time frame if they can't deduce that. So I don't know. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. I was so hungry. I had to eat because I did not have lunch today. But yeah, I mean, so we knew that she went into the Chevron. She's wearing a white tank top and itty bitty little blue shorts with black Nikes, I guess, even though they have yet to show us the photo of the shoes that they think that she had on, or at least I didn't see. Right. which I think is very interesting because those shoes by the door look pretty much like the ones that she wore in the camera, but whatever. They still didn't show it to us. But also, they did not find her white shirt, which you probably throw it away if there's blood on it. But if there was blood on her shirt or her body anywhere, that's going to end up in the car. If she carries the head and puts it in her vehicle, like, I don't understand how there's no blood evidence. Like, there's barely any, which is interesting. And that's not because, like, it doesn't sound like they thought everything was, like, cleaned up. You know, like, I don't think there was really any luminol in this, if I recall. Girl, please don't choke and die on camera. But think of the views. Think of the views. And then I'll live in infamy forever on YouTube as the girl who died streaming the trailer by choking on a Baconator. I mean, that is probably how I'm going to go. I'll be honest. At least there's bacon, right? So, yay me. I usually don't either. I'm a day snacker sometimes, or not at all, but I was starving. Eating is overrated. Yeah, I mean, I don't like food as much as other people do, but there isn't, see, that's what's just tricky about this, is because as much as they want to say, oh, it's definitely not Devyn, the reasons why, we know in other trials, we've seen that doesn't really matter. You know, like, oh, his phone was at the house. We tracked him all night. His phone was at the house. Okay, and that means literally nothing, because you can leave your phone running on one of my, 10-hour court streams covered, by the way. And if you do that so that way our channel gets some shout outs in court. Okay, thanks. Think of the channel, you guys.
We're going to take a brief recess for further cross-examination of this witness. All right, during this recess, you must not discuss or communicate with anyone, including fellow witnesses, in any way regarding this case or its claimants, either by voice, phone, email, text, internet, or other means of communication or social media. You must not read, watch, listen to any news or media accounts or commentary about the case. You must not do any research, such as consulting dictionaries, using the internet, or using reference materials. You must not make any investigation, test the theory of the case, recreate any aspect of the case, or in any other way investigate or learn about the case on your own. You must not form or trust any opinion regarding this case or its responsibility to you. Ladies and gentlemen, 2:35 will be in recess until 2:50.
All rise for the jury.
Okay. We're just 10 minutes, but okay. So we already talked about most of that. Yes, members, we got a new TMI this Friday at 9 p.m. It's going to be a good time. If you all enjoyed the mystery dates that we did last Friday, I heard there's going to be some more this week. So who knows what the lovely Amos had in. Hi, Kimbers. Hello. Hope you're doing well. You can't get into this case for some reason, honestly, because I feel like it is wild. Okay. the relationship, the family tree, it's wild. Okay. But also I don't feel like the state is presenting very well or closing the gaps. Like, we do have video camera in the neighborhoods, at kind of all the different points where they're like, it didn't catch anything. Okay. But also, I don't know about that. Some were only motion activated. So I guess the sensitivity of what the Ring camera would pick up is important. The other thing that the defense pointed out today, which was a solid argument, a good one at that, is that many of those security camera videos have no timestamp on them, and like, yes, I'm not saying that the police, are up to no good here, but those videos can literally be from any point in time if there's no timestamp on them, so that then makes, in my opinion, those go out the window, because, like, yeah, they can be like, oh, well, we cross-checked, blah blah blah, but that's not gonna match up. I mean, now they matched up some of the videos with the phone tracking that they did, which, okay, but I don't know. I'm very interested. So the defense is saying it was not Devyn, it was Devier. And the problem that the state has is they can sit there and tell us Devier had nothing to do with it. He's totally innocent, blah, blah, blah. Except, I don't know, because then when you look at the history, is he entirely like, he has quite the motive, right? Because his dad is moving into the house, to help take care of the kids with his wife, who didn't really know that they were married. Because, I just feel like there's a lot of people that have motivation in this, and the defense is, the state is trying their best to be like, oh, it's all Devyn. But you notice, we know that she did how many recorded interviews? 6, and they didn't play any. And they didn't play any at all. So I'm so mad that we didn't get to see the lawyer's argument about those interrogation videos. Because why else wouldn't you play them? So if some of those were not good for evidence for whatever reason, whether they didn't read her rights or something happened, I don't know. Devier is, he did a horrible job on the stand. Like, hot garbage. Okay, he did himself no favors. As a matter of fact, he looks even more suspicious because, I don't know when things happened. I don't know when I got married. I don't know when my stepdaughters / half-sisters' birthday. I don't even know how old they are. I don't care about this. I was drunk before, during, and after. Like, he did horrible on the stand. Like, real bad. That no matter what the state says, like, him being up there was, he did not do himself any favors. Let me tell you. And he hasn't even divorced her. She's been in jail for 2 years for killing your dad. And you haven't filed for divorce from her? But you're living with a girlfriend and her family in California? Like, what? Why? I don't know. It's just, it's weird. Okay? It's very weird. So that's not helpful for him. That's why I think she does need to take the stand, because if she can do a better job on the stand than Devier did, which that bar is low, she might actually stand a chance. So Lainey says, I met Weird Al at a Monkees concert when I was 14. He was the opener, and I was waiting in the aisle for the Monkees entrance, trying to get close to him, but it was Al's exit. He stopped to talk to me and let me play with his hair. I went to a Weird Al concert. Actually, I think he's coming back around. If he was asking me if we should go, because we've been to one before, and it's so much fun. It is one of the funnest and wholesome, nerdy concert I've ever been to. It's so fun. So why lie if he's innocent, right? But he had said something that we determined was a lie. Like he was like, my dad wouldn't have cared if, Devyn and I were together and married. Have you heard the things people have said about this guy? Okay. He most certainly, even if he wasn't the way that they talked about, any rational person would flip out about it because it's weird. Okay. And it's been going on for like 10 years. So I still have a lot of questions about that. And, that's the thing is like the state they're not doing the best. Okay. They're not doing the best. I can see why they offered a plea deal. I'll tell you that. Because I don't know. The jury hasn't asked a lot of questions. And honestly, I think it's because they're like us. Like, what do we even ask? So I don't know how this verdict's going to be, but it's definitely been, the last couple of days have been quite the struggle bus to get through. Now, the defense did a great opening statement. Both sides did great openings, for sure. Both sides were equally good. But also defense hasn't been great on their great on the crosses, especially getting so worked up about these dogs being outside and some 2 chairs flipped over that they ask some of these questions that are repetitive that we're just like, who cares? Like, what are you doing? You're losing us. You're losing us. But they have done a fairly good job poking some holes. I mean, look at us. We're all like, ooh, I don't know. I don't know if it was one of them, both of them, the other one. And that, my friends, is reasonable doubt. So, yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, it's so fun. Who is weird? Shut, Terry. Terry. Did you just write that to break me? Is that what you did? Just to break me down? I think so. I think so. Oh, Godsmack. That's a good choice. Good choice. We're seeing 9 Inch Nails in November with Boys Noise, which is like industrial house music, which I have been jamming out to like a weirdo. It's good. Good stuff. So that's in February. Oh, there we go. There we go. See? I knew you were up to no good, lady. Oh, Juju says, Llama, pray for the end of this trial. Struggle bus is over. It is a semi-truck struggle. Yeah, okay. So we know in one of the interviews that allegedly, when it wasn't being recorded, Devyn apparently confessed. This was not in court. This was outside of the presence of the jury that was reported on. That she said, oh, I put his head in a laundry basket. Okay, so where's the laundry basket? Like, how do you, like, it's so bloody. I just don't understand how there was no, like, it had to have been put in a container, like, for sure, because there's no trail of blood leading from the side of the bed that was against the wall where it happened around into the bathroom or the garage. There's that tiny little few droplets outside of the garage door that were his, and apparently some on the phone. Though, do we have a blood person testify to confirm it was his? I don't remember. This trial's been something. Dude, I'm so excited about it. I'm so excited. We're going for Elofit's birthday because his birthday's in February. And we heard about it and discussed. We were like, yeah, you know what? We'll go. If that's what you want to do for your birthday, great. And then his stepdad calls like the next day and was like, hey, I bought you and Tara tickets to go see 9 Inch Nails. And he's going too, I think, with his brother or nephew or something. He was like, is that cool? You guys want to go? And we're like, yes, please. Yes, please. Me too. Me too. So I'm pretty pumped up about that. I'm excited about it. Let's see. Juju says it's like whatever they are working a jigsaw puzzle. Don't know the frame or inner pieces and not color coded. Yeah, I mean it's a mess. This is I don't know. I don't know what it is about this one in particular, but yikes. Ooh, Janet Jackson is freaking awesome, though. Freaking awesome. I don't know who. Actually, I feel like I just read something about 9 Inch Nails where I think the drummer that they have now, or maybe it's that one of them left to go drum for the Foo Fighters. I'm pretty sure it was, yeah, I think the drummer left there to go replace oh my god, it's not Travis. Oh, you know, what is his name? It's slipping my name or my mind right now. But anyway, I don't know if that's the same drummer you're talking about or not, but yes, that's right. You guys can thank Ohio for him too, just to let you know. Because I think he's from Ohio, I think. Dave Grohl is from Ohio. A lot of famous people are from Ohio. because we're awesome. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what this jury is going to do or decide. I don't feel like it's slam dunk. I can tell you that. It probably would be if Devyn did better on the stand, but ooh, that is not good. Not good at all. How do you not know when you got married? Literally 4 years ago. It's not like you guys have been married for like 80 years, even though by then you should really have that memorized. But what? What? And both of them being very like not telling the truth about their relationship to the authorities. I don't know. Sorry, that's probably really loud. I don't know. I guess we'll see. I guess we will see. Because if any detective was going to play the interviews, I would think it was this guy. It would have surely been this guy, but interesting. If so, that defense won big then. And the decisions for the judge. That was a big win for them. I don't know. Maybe that'll make her not take the stand now. I don't know. I still feel like she's going to need to. She's gonna need to since Devyn did. So we'll see. We'll see. See, when I saw her sentencing in July, when she was like, no, I'm innocent, I have proof, I was like, oh, we're keeping an eye on this case because I am pretty sure she's going to end up taking the stand. And I feel like she's going to still, but that has not been confirmed anywhere. So, let's see. What else do we have? Oh, you know what? I know what I was going to do. Oh my gosh. Since we had a break, I was going to... Oh, wait. That's not right. No. That's not what I want to do. Let's see. If you were innocent, wouldn't you take the stand? I would. Yes and no. I mean, I've seen people where they took the stand and it was the worst freaking thing they could have possibly thought of, because remember, you open yourself up and the state, like, you don't get to control the narrative too much when you're being questioned, so, and, that's the same thing, right? Well, if you're innocent, why don't you talk to the cops? Because anything you say can and will be used against you, and their goal is to use it against you, So, I don't know, man. I don't know if I would do that, but... I would. Oh, I was thinking 5 memberships for you guys today. So congrats to whoever.
Please be seated. Your Honor, the jury's all present and accounted for.
We are back on the record in C, 377-239 State
I don't know those
versus
people
Devyn
today.
Michaels. May the record reflect that Ms. Michaels is present with her attorneys. Deputy Sharon on behalf of the state. Will those parties in the presence of our jury?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Detective, I just remind you, you are still under oath.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Johnson, you may begin your cross-examination.
Thank you.
Why do I know?
Good afternoon, Detective.
Good afternoon.
Well, it did not tell me who they went to.
Fair to say that you were the lead detective in reference to the investigation concerning this matter.
Yes.
And while you worked with the group, you made the primary decisions. You made the primary calls. Fair to say?
Sure. Fair to say, yes.
Fair to say. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but fair to say that, you were the lead agent in this case.
Yeah. Collectively, though, we, as a unit, we do discuss the case entirely. And when decisions are made, we do collectively make decisions together.
Approximately how many detectives were involved in the investigation of this case?
As far as the crimes against person unit, or you're talking like the entire?
Overall?
I couldn't tell you the exact
I
number.
don't know
of
where
detectives
those
that helped out
went.
with the case.
How many patrol officers were involved in the investigation of this case?
To the exact number, I couldn't tell you the exact number. No.
How many crime scene analysts were involved in the investigation of this case?
I mean, I could count them off for you if you wanted me to, off of memory, as far as like who assisted during each scene.
I think so. Christy.
But off the top of my head, I can't tell you how many exactly.
Okay. If I were to tell you, we've heard from 2 crime scene analysts, specifically a crime scene analyst Wilson and a crime scene analyst Miriam. Would that sum up the number of crime scene analysts that were involved in this case?
No.
How many were there then, just on memory?
So we had 3 crime scene that came out to the scene, Paladura, that helped collect evidence there. Then we had 1 that came out to Porcupine Rim. So there, that would be 4. And then autopsy, which would have been one of the same CSAs that were out originally. So 4, I think, CSAs that collectively came and collected everything.
Okay. You had testified that there were 11 electronic devices that were seized and examined as part of this investigation?
That's correct.
And what specific devices were those?
I'd have to review the reports as far as each specific device. I can't tell you off the top of my head.
Okay. You had gave testimony concerning a phone believed to be possessed and used by Johnathan, correct?
Correct.
And what was the phone number that was associated with that phone?
I couldn't tell you the exact number off the top of my head right now.
Okay. It was the phone number that you had alluded to during your direct just a few moments ago, correct?
Okay.
Fair to say?
Sure. Yes.
Are you aware that John used a second phone?
Not at the moment, no.
Are you aware of any analysis or call records that were reviewed in reference to phone number 725-279-1715?
Not at the moment, no.
You had given testimony concerning various items that you found both in the Porcupine Rim residence as well as the Paladera residence, correct?
Correct.
And you were asked to reference the swords in question, correct?
Correct.
Do you have that, Counsel? The swords? And we don't take issue with the photograph, but I have some questions concerning that. Thank you very much. In order to just not keep adding exhibits, we're going to use the state's exhibit. It's Exhibit 659. These were swords that you gave a testimony concerning that were found in the Porcupine Rim residence, correct?
Correct.
You had testified that there was no blood on the blades, but all we have is this photograph of the swords, correct?
I believe I said that I wasn't positive as far as being blood on the blades, but as far as when we examined them, which I didn't examine myself, but was told that there was no blood or any type of evidence on them that we believe was evidentiary value, and that they looked like prop collector stuff items.
These weren't seized as part of this investigation, correct?
They were not.
They were not preserved or kept, impounded into evidence, correct?
They were not.
So basically, we have this photograph of these 3 swords, correct?
Correct.
And your testimony is that, well, I think you said, I don't think there was blood on them, correct?
No, I believe that I was told that there was no blood on the actual swords.
And who would have told you that?
The detectives that were conducting the search warrant at the time.
Detective Lipich, we heard from him earlier today would have been Detective Lippish.
I'd have to go back and see who was at the house on the first search warrant at Porcupine Rim.
Fair to say we don't have any photographs wherein the blades are shown or preserved for a later hearing, like the trial.
That's correct.
No swabs were taken of either the blades or the handles, correct?
Correct.
No analysis, forensic analysis was done of these blades, correct?
Correct.
No fingerprint analysis was done on these swords, correct?
Correct.
Including the blades.
Correct.
And we're dealing with a decapitation case, correct?
That is correct.
Fair to say that samurai swords would kind of fall in that realm of importance when it comes to a decapitation case?
Depending on if they were real samurai swords.
Well, and you're saying that you're not, but what do we have to show that they aren't?
If we have the photographs. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, we have these photographs. We don't have a photograph of the blades, do we?
But correct.
We don't have any analysis concerning the steel of which the blades presumably were made, correct?
Correct.
We just have this photographs of the swords, correct?
Correct.
There was a photograph shown, I believe it was the second day of trial, concerning the bathroom area of the Paladura house, the downstairs bathroom. Do you recall? Do you know? Have you reviewed it?
I've seen the crime scene photos, yes.
Was there any analysis done inside that shower?
Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you. I would say that there probably would have been. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head right now if there was analysis done.
No swabbing the interior of that shower, presumptive test, blood, nothing?
That you would have to ask the CSAs that were conducting the processing of that house.
No DNA swabs submitted for further analysis of the contents of that shower?
Like I said, I wouldn't be able to tell you if it was or no, we didn't submit any swabs from the shower. I can tell you that.
Okay. You had testified that no guns were impounded through the course of this investigation, correct?
Correct.
And that was because I believe your testimony was that nobody had said anything about hearing a gunshot, correct?
That was part of it. It was also given the fact that we didn't have any bullet impact marks inside the house. There wasn't any blood spatter that you would believe to see from a bullet going through somebody anywhere inside the house.
Tracy, not Terry.
And then the fact that nobody had actually heard
And
a gunshot or was reported a gunshot. So that was all part of it, correct?
You had testified that when you came across the body, you had noticed that there was not that much blood found, correct? Given the circumstances.
Given the circumstances, I thought that there'd be a little bit more blood there.
So this crime scene, you'd agree, was something that was out of the ordinary.
Unique.
It was unique. I mean, assuming the head had been severed by a mechanical powered saw, we would expect there to be cast off from this saw, would we not?
I guess it depends on what type of saw was used.
And you're aware of the analysis done by Dr. Burns, wherein she opined her conclusion is that a mechanical powered saw was used.
Correct.
In addition to a knife or perhaps a sword, correct?
I don't believe she said a knife, no.
But nonetheless, you didn't find anything indicative of a mechanical powered saw upon your review of the crime scene where the headless body was, correct?
Correct.
But we know, at least based upon the anthropologist's expert opinion, that a mechanical powered saw was used, correct?
Correct.
In reference to a gunshot, again, you're just presuming a gunshot didn't occur, a gun wasn't used to kill this gentleman, correct?
Given all the evidence that we saw at the scene, we hadn't had anything to say that there was a gun used in this incident.
But there's really nothing to show other than what the anthropologist found, that a mechanical powered saw was used, correct? I mean, we have an anthropologist that said a mechanical powered saw was used, correct?
That to sever the head.
Yes.
Correct.
And there was no evidence found concerning that mechanical powered saw, correct?
Correct.
I mean, you wouldn't see much if
You have a
like the
person
bullet
that's
didn't
dead,
exit,
cause of
right?
death
I'm pretty sure.
unknown, no guns are impounded or tested, correct?
Correct.
No gunshot residue tests are done concerning the
Those are
decedent's
garbage.
body, correct?
Correct.
No gunshot residue tests are performed upon Devyn Willette's hands, correct?
Correct.
No gunshot residue tests are performed upon Devyn Michaels' hands, correct?
Correct. As stated previously, there wasn't any evidence to say that a gun was actually used. And to your point, as far as not doing GSR on our victim, there was chemicals poured on his body. So at that time too,
Trying to
even if
show that
there
they didn't
was
do a full
believed a
investigation.
gunshot to be
That's, I think,
gun
what
to be
he's doing,
used,
so.
we wouldn't have been able to do that with him, given
Right.
the fact that there was believed chemicals to be poured on him. at
But
the
his
time.
hands were bagged, correct?
After the fact.
Yes. And presumably the decedent's hands were bagged for further testing, correct?
Correct.
In fact, we know that the hands were swabbed for DNA, correct?
Correct.
But the hands were not swabbed for any gunshot residue tests, correct?
Due to the fact that there was no evidence to say that a gun was used during the incident.
Well, and we discussed the saw, no evidence of that, but we learned
Correct,
that
yeah.
was. But nonetheless, my point being, there was no gunshot residue test performed upon anybody's
Okay.
hands, including the decedent's, correct?
Correct.
You were present during the collection of evidence at the Paladura residence, correct?
I was present during the search warrant, but as far as being completed, I had myself and Detective Skinner had already left the residence to speak with Devyn and Devyn.
There had been questions asked days ago concerning rings. Are you aware of that? Were you ever looking for any rings, evidence of rings, like wedding bands, at the Paladura residence?
I was not.
And you were the lead detective, correct?
Correct.
You've obviously reviewed the crime
It is.
scene
GSR is
photos
garbage.
taken at the Paladura
A lot of
residence,
states are doing
correct?
away with that.
There are no photographs concerning the contents exposed of those garbage cans, are there?
Girl, tell me about it.
Specifically, exhibit number 68. It's a trash can downstairs. We have no photographs of what the contents of that trash can were, correct?
Correct.
In reference to electronic devices, I'm going to show you what's been marked and divided the state's exhibits 284 and 287. This is 284. This is the Porcupine residence. And I'm going to ask him some questions concerning electronic devices. We have an Xbox here, don't we?
That's correct.
And I'm showing you State's Exhibit 287. That's an Xbox here, correct?
I believe so. I couldn't tell you just looking at that picture right there.
You'll agree that in the course of the investigation, reviewing text message and otherwise, Devyn Willette was a gamer, wasn't he?
I don't remember saying that.
Okay. You're not aware of text, he's gaming, complaints from Devyn concerning him playing?
They were in the
all
letters.
time?
We read them.
Not aware of that?
I'd have to review the text messages.
That's an electronic device, correct?
Correct.
And you're aware that gamers are able to communicate with one another through a game platform, like an Xbox.
Correct.
That Xbox was not seized or analyzed for potential evidence, was it?
It was not.
So you'll agree with me that all of the electronic devices were in fact not seized or analyzed through the course of this investigation?
From your definition of electronic devices with the Xbox, yes. Not all of them were collected.
That one in particular, in the room that Devyn and Devyn shared, that was not collected, correct?
I couldn't tell you if they shared it or not, but That one was not collected, no.
You were asked concerning tennis shoes, shirt, shorts that presumably Devyn Michaels was wearing the night of August 6th, correct?
Correct.
This search warrant at the home was executed on August 7th, 6 p.m., give or take?
Approximately.
She had given an interview at 7:55 p.m. wherein she had discussed being in the terrible hearse with Johnathan, correct?
Correct.
The video that we saw from a prior witness, that was collected by Detective, I believe, August 11th. Does that conform with your recollection?
I don't know the exact date it was collected, but it would have been after the search warrant.
After the search warrant. So when we heard testimony from crime scene landless Miriam concerning, well, shoes weren't recovered, shorts weren't recovered, this search was going on when shoes were not being looked for, correct? The search occurred prior to your learning about the video and what Devyn was wearing, correct?
Correct. Or we had video from the Burlington Coat Factory, and I believe pictures that were being sent from the other detective that reviewed that video. So all we had at that point, I think, was the dress that we had actually seized from the residents at that time.
Let me ask you about that. Since we're on that point, do we have copies of this Burlington video that's been referenced to?
We do not.
You didn't preserve that, did you?
We did not.
So we've heard testimony concerning, oh, we're basically discrediting a story where someone comes up to the daughter, but we don't have the benefit of that video to review, do we?
No.
There are a couple of photos that were taken in reference to the Porcupine Rim search. I'm going to show you what's 265A. Or I'm sorry, it's just 265. We do see a couple of tennis shoes here, don't we? Black with white soles.
Yes.
Those were not collected through the course of this search warrant execution, were they?
They were not.
I'm going to show you what's been admitted as state's exhibits, exhibit 2021 291A. Presumably this is a closet in the Porcupine Rim residence, correct?
Correct.
We have tennis shoes up here, don't we?
That is correct.
But those weren't collected or put into evidence, correct?
They were not.
We had heard testimony from Dr. Burns in reference to a bone chip missing when the head was severed at the Paladura residence. Was a bone chip ever recovered at the crime scene?
No.
Was a bone chip ever looked for in the crime scene?
No.
Were the blankets surrounding the body booked into evidence?
That I could not tell you at the top of my head.
If I told you that there's been testimony that there wasn't, would you have any reason to disagree with me?
If you told me to say that again,
That they weren't?
that they weren't taken,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, wouldn't have any reason to disagree with you.
The blanket on top, the surrounding, I mean, the mattress, none of that was taken and impounded into evidence, correct?
Correct.
They didn't take the bed? Okay.
There was testimony from the last witness elicited concerning footprints in the backyard of the Paladura residence.
I know they didn't take the blankets, which is weird. Right? Because why wouldn't they take the sheets and the blankets that his body was found in? You take everything else usually. Well, we didn't think there would be anything on it. What?
We had marked and admitted, and the court will have them, exhibits of footprints.
Mm-hmm.
You were aware of these footprints in the backyard?
Correct.
They were measured.
Correct.
Any further analysis done on the footprints in the backyard where this dead body's found?
As in what type of analysis?
Size comparisons,
What size were they?
To-
male, female, shoe size.
I do not believe so.
They were documented, but they weren't followed up on, correct?
Correct.
Are you aware of what size Devyn Willette his feet are?
I could not tell you at the top of my head, no.
Were any of his shoes seized?
No.
Fair to say that those photographs appeared fairly recent, like fairly recent footprints, based upon the review of the photographs.
I could not tell you if they were
Wish the
recent or
state
not.
did harp on that backyard a whole
But they were
lot.
fresh. I mean, they were
How to
there,
get
they
in
were
and
in
out.
sand, correct? Presumably the elements wouldn't have changed them or flattened them, and we have seen pictures of those photographs, or we've seen, you know, those have been admitted as exhibits. No follow-up investigation in reference to that, correct?
Well, we didn't have any evidence to say that somebody had come through the back towards the end of the investigation. So as far as any comparisons done, like you're saying, yeah, no, there were no comparisons done after the fact.
How about the directionality? Were those footprints leaving the residence or entering the residence?
I don't think you could tell whether or not.
But it's your testimony nonetheless that because Devier's phone was at the house, he was basically eliminated as a suspect, correct?
On top of his statement, Devyn's statement,
His statement shouldn't have been
cellular
considered. He was
phone,
drunk as shit.
correct. His vehicle never left the neighborhood. Both vehicles never left the neighborhood. We deduced, yeah, that he and the girls were there at the house that he had to watch.
But the girls were asleep, correct? The girls were, I mean, they're going to school the next morning, and that is fair to say. The girls were going to school the next morning, correct?
Correct.
Girls weren't up all night, were they?
I couldn't tell you if they were up all night or not. I just know that there was a text message also from Devier to Devyn stating, I think it was around 10:30-ish, where he said that he was going to sleep and the girls were already asleep.
But we don't know whether he stayed there or not. His phone stayed there. We don't know if he stayed there, do we?
Given all the video surveillance, given his phone, vehicles, nothing left the neighborhood, you could say that he didn't leave there.
There was a walkway, and we addressed it with the last detective. One house over from the Porcupine Rim residence, correct? One could walk out of the neighborhood and not be seen. Fair to say?
Correct.
He could have gone over the back fence because it was on Rebecca. He had butted against the street, correct?
Correct.
There was a presumption that perhaps someone had driven, but again, the video coverage of the Porcupine Rim residence was not perfect, was it?
Surrounding Porcupine Rim?
Yes,
Yes.
It was motion activated.
correct. And subpoenas were an issue to get the entire documentation of the
worst
comings and goings,
but-
correct? Homeowners were relied upon, correct, and whatever they turned over.
Correct. But if you have motion activated cameras, they would have access to all the activations that are with the cameras. So subpoenaing, if you're asking us if we subpoenaed the actual company, see if there's extra video,
You weren't.
we didn't.
You had to rely upon the voluntary participation of the neighbors, correct?
Correct.
And you'll agree with me, sometimes in Clark County in the Vegas Valley, oftentimes neighbors don't necessarily, they aren't the most cooperative, fair to say?
Sometimes, correct.
Why? I guess people in Vegas ain't no rats, eh?
In reference to the analysis of Devier's phone, while that phone was at the Porcupine Rim residence, there wasn't any activity on it during the night, correct?
Activity as far as what?
Anything on the screen, apps, things being done. Are you aware of that?
That I couldn't tell you.
If a phone is left and a person crosses the valley, if there's no activity on that phone, that would be consistent. The person isn't with that phone, correct?
Say that again?
Yeah, if a phone is left, let's say a person leaves his residence, okay? Let's say Devier leaves the Porcupine Rim residence and goes to the Paladero residence and he leaves his phone behind. You wouldn't expect for there to be activity on that phone, correct?
Correct.
And the lack of activity on that phone would be consistent with that phone having been left there, correct?
Correct.
You testified that no DNA evidence was taken from Devier to compare it with any DNA that was taken, correct?
Correct.
You had testified that you did not obtain a warrant to do that, correct?
Correct.
You could have gotten that DNA by asking him for it, correct?
For consent, correct. We could have asked him.
Are you aware of that was ever done?
No, it was not.
It was assumed from the get-go that he was not involved because his phone was at the house that night, correct?
And everything else that we listed that ruled him out.
You've had cases wherein a person goes and commits a heinous crime and leaves a phone behind, correct?
It's happened.
Are you aware that Devier worked for Hometronics? He was involved in installing home security systems?
That's what he advised me, yes.
Are you aware that he had tools and that he installed hundreds of security systems in homes across the valley?
I don't know how, as far as the amount of stuff that he has installed, but yeah, he had mentioned that he installed security cameras and hung TVs and stuff like that.
Home entertainment systems.
Pretty much.
And you'd agree with me that in order to install a home entertainment system, you need to have tools like a mechanical powered saw, correct?
That I couldn't tell you what exactly. I can tell you from experience, as far as me hanging TVs and doing security cameras, I used a drill bits, and that's it.
Speakers, you got to cut the drywall, put speakers in.
If that's what you're doing, as far as going into the wall.
You had testified that you had sealed up and taken the Nissan Armada, correct?
Say that again.
The Nissan Armada, you testified that it was basically sealed up and submitted for tests, correct?
It was sealed and then towed to the station, yes.
And that was done in order to obtain any trace evidence, blood, DNA, things of that nature, correct?
Correct.
And the results of that analysis was negative in reference to a crime having occurred, correct?
Correct.
No blood was found.
No blood was found inside the vehicle, no.
No DNA being traced back to Johnathan was found, correct?
Correct.
You know, you had testified that, you said something about spots, water on the vehicle. It was your opinion that maybe the vehicle had been washed. Is that correct?
Correct.
Did you take any close-up photographs of that to substantiate that, or is that just an assumption that you're making?
That's from what looking at the vehicle on scene, and yeah, noticing that there were water spots on the vehicle.
The inside of the vehicle was kind of a mess, wasn't it? Maybe not teenager mess that we heard from another witness, but I mean, it was not very clean, was it?
I guess it's whatever you consider clean. It's cleaner than my vehicle, so I considered it clean.
We had heard testimony, I believe it was from Detective Spangler, concerning a stop at Funny's. Are you aware of that? Under the analysis of the Burla, the morning of the 7th.
No.
We'd heard testimony, I think Detective Spangler had referred to it as Burla, or I'm sorry, you know, through his analysis as like a Funny's car wash, but Funny's is a gas station, isn't it?
I couldn't tell you.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as Defense Exhibit X3. Move to admit and move to publish.
Did you say X3?
X3.
Okay, X3 will be admitted. Permission to know which is admitted.
This is Funny's. There is a car wash off to the side. There's also gas pumps, correct?
Correct.
As far as the analysis of the location of the vehicle, are you aware that it's consistent with being at a gas pump versus a car wash?
Like one or the other?
Yeah. No analysis done on this?
As far as it going to fill up gas or going through the car wash? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. We heard testimony from part of your team that the vehicle stopped here, presumably after going to the school on August 7th.
Yeah, if you're asking if we can say that it went through to get gas or the car wash, I couldn't tell you which one it did.
We heard testimony that under the burla that it was turned off, the vehicle, when it was at Funny's. Are you aware of that?
No,
You'd agree with me that you turn your car off to fill it up with gas? You don't
Yes.
leave your car running generally, correct?
No.
You drive through a car wash, don't you?
Correct.
Are you aware of the movements of this Armada the morning of the 7th?
Not all the movements, no.
Okay. Through your investigation, you learned that Devyn took the girls to
He's
school,
the
correct?
lead
Correct.
In
detective.
fact, you had learned earlier through your investigation that there had been a discussion with Johnathan of the girls going to the school next to Devyn's house, correct?
Correct.
Took the girls to school that morning, went to Funny's, fair to say, got gas.
I can't dispute that, no.
Okay. Also went to Taco Bell, correct?
Like I said, I don't know all the exact spots that the vehicle went.
But like, you should though, sir. Not to be rude. I mean, I don't have your
You've
job,
given
but like,
testimony in reference
lead is for a
to
reason.
the wallet belonging to Johnathan, the social security card. You recall that testimony?
Yes.
There had been evidence found through the extraction that Johnathan had lost his wallet and then found it August 6th of 2023, correct?
I don't remember the exact dates, but yeah, I do remember, yes. That Devyn actually mentioned that to us also, and that we did see the pictures in the phone.
Okay, so Devyn told you that he had lost the phone the day before, August 6th, and then the phone analysis confirmed that there was text between the two of them where he'd lost his wallet and
Lost,
said, hey,
yes, correct. Lost the
found it.
wallet, not the phone.
Okay, the wallet, social security, those had been lost and they'd been found just the day before, correct?
Correct.
You'd agree with me that
Agreed, Chris.
obviously finding those items in the house would be consistent with Johnathan moving into Devyn's house, correct?
No.
Well, I mean, he'd lost his things. She had told you that he had lost things before and she'd given him items, correct?
That's what she had told us, yes.
All right. And you've moved before. You'd agree with me that moves can be hectic, correct?
Correct.
Especially if girls, young ones are involved, correct?
Correct.
All the evidence points to the days leading up to this that a move was occurring wherein Johnathan was moving in with Devyn, correct?
Correct.
The girls had been at Devyn's house since around May 27th of 2023, correct?
I don't know the exact day, but I believe that she told us they were there up until school ended, and then once school ended, the kids went with her.
Yeah, and they were with her all summer, correct?
Correct.
And then through the course of your investigation, you learned that they were going to try things again and that Johnathan was moving in with her and the girls, and that was the plan, correct?
That's what we were told, yes.
Jim's still very suspicious about, because from the stuff we read about what she had written Devier, which we don't know when it
Through
is.
your investigation, walking through the house at Paladera, there are empty alcohol bottles, correct?
Correct.
Through the course of your investigation, you learned that Johnathan was a drinker.
Correct.
Through the course of your investigation, you'd learned that he had been drinking throughout the day of August 6th.
That's what we were told.
But
His key, and you've given testimony concerning the truck pulled in front of the Paladera residence like it was almost going to be a temporary stay or something. You remember that testimony?
Correct. That's what it appeared to look like.
But you'd agree with me that the truck's pulled in, he's been drinking. A reasonable person would probably take the key away from him if there was a concern about him drinking and
but
driving,
he wasn't
correct?
drunk though,
Sure.
guys. His blood alcohol
You
was
had testified that when you
0.02.
came up the driveway, Porcupine Rim, it's your testimony, you saw a cell phone off to the side, correct?
Correct.
That was the side of Devyn's vehicle, correct?
Correct.
You had testified that she was moving things. It appeared she was carrying items.
That's what it appeared to be.
You can't say when that phone was dropped, whether it was accidentally or otherwise through the course of this move, correct?
No, not exactly.
But he'd probably be looking for it. Just saying.
You are aware through the analysis of the phones that Devyn had sent a voice note to Johnathan's phone at about 4 a.m., correct?
Correct.
And that concerned registering the girls in the morning, correct?
I believe so.
What did it sound like? You haven't played
You'd
it for
agree
us.
with me that one interpretation of that is that Devyn thought that he was alive, correct? She was complaining about his failure to register the girls.
Sure.
Complaining about
I
his
mean, you
failure
said
to
sure, you
register.
agree with that's possible.
I can agree with
isn't
what
it?
you're saying, yes. It's possible.
And that through the analysis of Devyn's phone, she had received several calls the night before from the landline of her home, correct?
Correct.
11 calls, correct?
From the landline?
Yes.
I don't know the exact number.
You're also aware through the analysis of the phones that the night before she'd been with Johnathan until about 1 a.m. and that she'd received a number of phone calls from the landline from her home address, correct?
She would have been there till at least 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, the night before. So she was there late 2 nights in a row, correct?
The night you're talking about, the 5th?
Yes.
Oh, that I'm not sure as far as how late she stayed there at that time.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, but
Are
she'd
like
received
him and Debbie
a
are
number
like
of phone calls
BFFs
from
because
her
neither
home
one of them
2
seem to know
nights in a row,
shit.
correct?
So
I don't have anything to dispute that now.
And there was a landline at her residence, correct?
That's what she told us, yes.
Devier, if you're aware, has testified that there was no landline at the residence. Are you aware of that?
No.
You had been asked concerning your interview with Devier and how he had minimized the relationship, the type of relationship that he had with Devyn, correct?
Correct.
He outright lied to you, didn't he?
straight up.
Like I said, he minimized his relationship with her, yes.
He was asked by you if they slept in the same bed and he said no, correct?
Correct.
That was a lie, wasn't
Maury
it?
determined that was a lie.
Correct.
You had asked him if they were intimate and he said no, correct?
Maury
Correct.
determined that was a lie.
That was a lie, wasn't it?
It's what, yeah, he told us, and what Devin had told us also.
They were both minimizing that relationship. They were both covering for Devier. Isn't that right?
Minimizing their relationship.
Later on through the course of the interview, Devier says that he didn't know his dad was moving in, correct?
That's what he had said.
But that was a lie, wasn't it? Based upon the analysis of the phones and interviewing witnesses, correct?
That he didn't know that his dad was moving in.
Yeah.
I think through the course of the investigation, he had said that, yeah, he didn't know, but it was aware that the plan was John was going to move in. Because I think he actually had said during our interview that basically he knew that Yoko was trying to kick him out because he wasn't paying rent, and then at the same time, he basically was told that he wasn't going to allow his dad to be homeless. So he said, yeah, I don't want my dad to be homeless, so I'll agree, and I was going to move out for a little bit. And
But then he later was untruthful in saying, in reference to the knowledge of his dad moving in and him having to move out, correct?
I don't believe that was in the interview that I conducted.
Okay. You had testified that when you interviewed him in the morning of the 7th, I'm referring to Devier, he told you he'd been drinking, correct?
Correct.
But you're unaware if he'd been drinking continuously from the night before, correct? You don't know.
I don't. Just from what he told me, that he started drinking as soon as he got home after finding out about his father's death.
Are you aware of where he went the morning of August 7th?
Not specifically. We do have his phone tracks that show that he had driven around town.
Okay. But you really didn't follow up or look too closely at that because he really wasn't on the radar. In fact, he was told that he was under the radar, correct?
Correct.
Detective, you'd agree with me that this was not a complete investigation.
No, I would not agree with you.
So it's your testimony that this was a complete investigation.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir, come on.
Given all the things that we have talked about, it was a complete investigation. That's your testimony.
Correct.
Finally, in reference to the autopsy, you testified that you were present during the course of the autopsy, correct?
That is correct.
And you reviewed the autopsy report?
Correct.
In your opinion, was the autopsy report correct concerning its various findings?
How would he know that?
And I'm not asking for a legal opinion, but was it accurate?
I can't argue that it wasn't.
Okay. States here, page 2, tattoos, and this is in reference to Jonathan's body. It states no tattoos identified, correct?
I couldn't tell you if that was part of it, no.
If I may approach the witness?
Yes.
I'm referring to page
Does
2.
John have tattoos? And they didn't say that on the autopsy? Yikes, if
Which part are
true.
you referring to?
Tattoos.
Yes, it says no tattoos identified.
Oh, we're gonna learn he has tattoos, huh? Oh my gosh, we're just gonna have a giant back tattoo or something crazy.
If I could have these two marked. Here's the next couple of defense exhibits. And why is he in Z3?
No, I mean, he said it was a complete investigation, so. But like, sir,
Showing you what's been marked, and I'd move for admission. There's no opposition.
Y3 and Z3 are admitted.
Fair to say that that's a tattoo on Jonathan's arm, correct?
Correct.
what?
Appears to be his right arm, correct?
I couldn't tell you from this view.
That's his whole side of his arm.
Z3,
Also, oof.
left arm, correct?
Correct.
So we've got a mistake made, at least one of, I'd submit many concerning the
giant
autopsy.
one.
It states no tattoos. He's got tattoos, correct?
Correct.
It's not great. Yikes.
Move for admission of A4.
It's
Since
not
Jonathan's
great.
hand, appears we've got a wound on that hand, don't we?
From the picture, yeah, there's a wound there.
Court's indulgence.
Yeah, that looks pretty like a big wound. Remember, they told us there were no wounds of any kind anywhere on his body. No defensive marks, no knife, nothing. That's like a giant freaking chunk out of his hand.
Final question. Through the course of your investigation, you came in contact with Principal Leatherman, and it was learned that Jonathan and Devyn were planning on enrolling the girls to the school next to Devyn's house, correct?
Through that interview, I found out that Devyn was trying to.
But then you make reference to Jonathan wanting to enroll the girls with her, correct? At the school near her house.
I believe so, yes.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Ooh, how you gonna clean up this mess? Yikes. Yikes, buddy.
Detective, at the beginning of Mr. Draskovich's cross-examination, he referenced a potential second phone for Jonathan. Is that correct?
Correct.
Just want to clarify, no cell phone associated with John was found at Paladura, correct?
Correct.
No cell phone for John was found anywhere inside the Paladura scene.
Correct.
There was the phone found for John at Porcupine Rim.
That's correct.
the
I mean,
one in
I
the
don't know if it
driveway.
makes her
Yes.
innocent.
And then
but
you got the
boy.
CDRs or call detail records for that phone.
That is correct.
Just so the jury understands, the 11 devices that were submitted for forensic analysis, those were all found inside the Porcupine Rim home.
That is correct.
So if John may have had a second phone, it's not his active phone at the time.
That is correct.
In fact, there's activity on John's phone on the 6th into the, the morning of the 7th, and we know that's the one he was primarily using.
That's correct.
With regard to the swords and the shower at Paladura, you indicated that you don't know what exactly was done with those items, correct?
Correct.
But you can say that the swords were found at Porcupine Rim, the shower would have been at Paladura. We agree there.
That's correct.
And if someone has an item in their home, do you expect for DNA, their own DNA to be found on it?
That is correct.
And so let's talk about the swords for a second. If defendant's DNA is found on it or Devier's, would that be shocking considering the fact that it's in their home?
No.
Same thing with the shower. There's been testimony that Ms. Michaels has been in and out of the Paladura home several times. John obviously lives there. Devier's lived there in the past. If there's DNA found in the shower, would you be shocked by any of those people?
No.
That's fair. True.
That's not necessarily an investigative tool that will help you answer an unanswered question.
Correct.
There was some questions about the shoes and the clothing associated with the defendant, and I just want to make sure everyone understands. There was the initial search warrant at Porcupine Rim on August 7th, correct?
Correct.
And then at a subsequent date, I can't remember off the top of my head, they went back and took more photos,
Correct.
and they found those blue shorts.
That is correct.
Okay. The white tank top that you see in that Chevron video, was that ever found?
No.
And then there was photos of,
Do we know
I believe
that?
it was 2 sets of black and white shoes, you recall that.
That's correct.
But your testimony is no one ever found the black and white shoes with the big white Nike swoop
That is correct.
that was seen in that Chevron video.
Yes.
Did that look like a Nike swoop to anybody? They have not shown us a close-up of that shoe that I recall
There was some
anywhere.
also questioning about
Because I've been harping on it for like
the
5
amount
days.
of blood. You would expect more, correct?
Correct.
You cannot testify to this jury whether or not the person who did the killing put a towel over the head or anything like that when the real wet work was happening, correct?
Correct.
In fact, there's evidence to suggest there's a lot of evidence removed from the scene.
Correct.
One big glaring piece of evidence, correct?
That is correct.
At least. There was some testimony about the shoe prints in the backyard.
Yes.
It's kind of the same line of questioning. You can't time shoe prints, correct?
No.
So if there is a shoe print in the backyard, it could be from anyone who's ever been in that residence.
Correct.
Now, the point Mr. Drastovich made is a good one. Maybe wind blows and it would look more weathered or something, but you can't say when that shoe print was left, no matter how much testing you do with that.
I could not know.
No, but like,
You
Probably
were
look into it,
discussing
though.
how you ruled out Devier, and you kept saying it was a multitude of things. It wasn't just you take his word for it that he wasn't there, correct?
Correct.
May I approach?
yeah, I think they've asked like 4 or 5 questions.
You recognize that?
Yes.
What is that?
A Google map
Right,
showing
yeah.
directions from one place to another.
And specifically walking directions from 5510 Porcupine Rim to 26.
I was making that same emoji face.
Correct.
I move for the admission of that.
No objection.
663.
Oh man, I'm pretty sure this is the state's last witness too.
Just real quickly for the record, what's the walking distance between the two?
Looks approximately 7 hours and 27 minutes.
And that's, to
So
be fair,
what?
that's just one route. Like, I'm sure there's hundreds
How
of
many
different
miles is it?
combinations of streets you could take, correct?
It takes
Correct.
7
But fair
hours.
to say, it's quite a ways across town.
Correct.
And you indicated that the video surveillance ruled out Devier's vehicles from having either left his home or entered the scene
Correct.
at Paladura.
What
That
about
is correct.
Kyle? Kyle seems like a real piece of shit.
Mr. Draskovich asked
about
you
that
about
According to Devyn, he's
activity
away. Sorry,
on
Kyle.
Devier's phone. He's basically saying, like, it was left at home. You got that line of questioning.
Correct.
And asking if there is activity on it. And I believe his question was that would be consistent with him not being with the phone. Do you remember that line of questioning?
Correct.
Could also be consistent with him being asleep.
That is correct.
So that doesn't tell you much. And would you defer to the expert that we haven't called yet, Clinton Campbell, Detective Campbell,
Oh.
when it comes to any technological findings on the phones?
Yes,
Okay, so he's better suited to answer those
that is
questions.
correct.
Oh, so maybe they will call him? Okay.
Mr. Draskovich asked you about these post-homicide text to John from the defendant, correct?
Correct.
And he said one interpretation is that she thought he was alive, correct?
Correct.
Another interpretation is that she was alibying herself, correct?
That is correct.
In
Okay.
fact, the killer in this case took substantial steps to cover up what he or she had done, correct?
Correct.
Taking a head from a crime scene is kind of an extreme example of covering up.
Very extreme.
Not exactly shocking to see an alibi text.
Correct.
The autopsy, there was just an autopsy photo shown, suggesting Mr. Draskovich's word was wound on A4. Remember that?
Yes.
You're not a forensic pathologist, correct?
Correct.
You're not a medical
Yeah,
doctor.
show us the hand again.
Correct.
Would you defer to the doctor's testimony as it relates to?
Look at that thing.
Correct.
Have you ever heard the term slippage before?
Yes.
Understanding you're not a doctor, so if you're not comfortable answering, what is
no.
slippage generally?
After basically we say slippage, skin slippage, at post-mortem, the body starts to decay. When you touch the body, the skin actually can start slipping off the body since it's decaying at that
That's
point.
pretty gross, but I don't know if
And
that's
so
necessarily
when
it,
you
though.
agreed with Mr. Draskovich, hey, that looks like a wound, ultimately you're going to defer to a medical doctor as to whether that's a wound or not.
Correct.
But then why didn't they talk about it when the medical examiner was there to shut it down? You know? I mean, we didn't see
Detective,
pictures,
I
but we heard what she
apologize, I
said.
forgot to put these up before. May I approach?
That's the problem with the prosecution. They just allow these big holes to happen, and the defense is like
Yes.
punching through them, and they're like,
Images of the relevant folks we've been talking about.
Correct.
Judge, I move the admission of 13, 609 through 613.
Number 13, 609 through 613?
No objection.
Thank you. Just for the record, 613, who is that?
Masao Yoshida,
612, who is that?
victim Johnathan Willette,
who cares?
611, who's that?
his mother Yoko Willette,
609, who is that?
Devyn Willette,
610, who is that?
Devyn Michaels,
613, who is that?
Johnathan with his two kids.
Do you see the defendant who you arrested for murder with use of deadly weapon here in the courtroom today?
I do.
Can you please point to that person and describe something she's wearing today?
We stipulate the ID of Devyn Michaels.
All right, identification has been stipulated.
Thank you, Your Honor.
We
I'll pass it on.
stipulate.
Thank you, sir.
We're like, yeah, that's her. We get it. Are you
As far
see
as
how you're trying
referring
to
to
pull
the
on those?
medical doctor in this case, that's the same medical doctor that said that there were no tattoos, correct?
Correct.
No further
Yeah.
questions.
No, thank you.
Nope, no, thank you.
Do you have any questions for this witness? If you could write your question on a full sheet of paper.
Oh, we got
with your name,
questions.
date, your jury number.
We got jury questions, y'all. What? Oh, I can't wait for the defense's turn. Holy moly, guys. Holy moly. He has a giant forearm word tattooed on his whole freaking arm. And the medical examiner marked no tattoos. What? And then that big chunk out of his hand there? Why would a medical examiner not at least bring that up to, or why would the state not want to bring that up to be like, oh, because she did talk about slippage at one point. I do believe she did, that was brought up, but I don't remember exactly what she said about it. But I do not believe that it had to do with the hands. Correct me if I'm wrong. That was a couple days ago, and there's been a lot happening, but still, like, oh my goodness.
Yes, ma'am.
Was there an inventory of tools taken in Devyn's work van and verified to his employer?
There was not.
Oh,
At any time, was the missing knife ever described to you?
Yes.
If so, could you describe the missing knife? What type of blade? Was it serrated, the size or length?
It was described as kind of like a meat cleaver hatchet type.
Okay. State any follow-up based on the jury question?
Just, I don't know if you caught that part. It said, was it serrated or not?
She said no.
Thank you.
Any follow-up?
No follow-up, thank you.
Okay, do the ladies and gentlemen of the jury have any further questions for this witness? Okay.
someone on the jury suspicious of
Thank you,
Devyn.
Honor.
No, they wouldn't call her back to redeem herself. They would.
State's next witness is Elizabeth Papakostas.
Oh, there is another one. I don't know who this is. Oh boy, that did them no favors. No favors. But clearly one of the jurors is on the Devyn sus train with that. Did they take an inventory of his work truck regarding the tools? So. Okay. I mean, the state might call her back, but the defense wouldn't. I wouldn't think. No way. They're sitting pretty after that. I mean, how do you miss a giant forearm tattoo? You know? Yikes.
You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, I do.
Madam, please state your full name and spell it for the record.
My first name's Elizabeth, Elizabeth, Papakostas, Papacostas.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
How are you employed?
I'm currently a forensic scientist at the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department Forensic Laboratory, and I'm in the biology DNA unit.
How long have you worked in that capacity?
I started part-time at the laboratory in January of 2020. In February of 2020, I was promoted to a forensic laboratory technologist. And then in October of 2022, I was promoted into a forensic scientist position.
And you mentioned your unit is the biology unit, is that right?
Correct, biology and DNA.
And what is that unit?
We primarily focus on examining items of evidence for biological fluids, such as semen, blood, and saliva. We also do examine items for what we call trace DNA, and we examine those items, we take them through the laboratory process, and then I also write reports.
And you mentioned trace DNA. Can you please define that for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
Trace DNA it was previously referred to as touch DNA. So it's commonly items that are handled, clothing that's worn by somebody, and essentially what it is the skin cells that come off when you're handling items.
And you sort of touched on it, but can you go in depth about what your duties are in your position?
Sure. In the laboratory, I can take physical items of evidence. Again, I'm looking for any signs of those biological fluids. And once I take those items, they go through a laboratory process. And then at the end of that process, data is generated. Once I have the electronic data, I can then evaluate that and make any comparisons to known individuals. And then I do write reports.
And what is your training and experience that makes you qualified to be able to do this work?
I hold a Bachelor's of Science degree from the University of Nevada, Reno. And then during my first position as a laboratory technologist, I underwent a training program. And then once I was promoted into my current position, I also went another training program. During that time, essentially, we work on mock casework. We go through a series of tests. We also do competency testing just to ensure that we're able to work on real life casework. And then during that real casework, we're also supervised by other analysts in the lab.
In addition to your previous training, do you also do ongoing training to make sure that you're up to speed on all the modern technology out there?
Yes, every year we have to undergo at least 8 hours of continuing education.
And you're up to date on that?
Yes.
You mentioned that you work at the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department Forensic Lab, is that correct?
Yes.
Is that an accredited lab?
Yes, the lab is accredited.
What does that mean?
Essentially, accreditation is the recognition by an outside body that the laboratory is meeting a certain set of standards. And then also within that, we undergo audits, and essentially accreditation shows that the lab is producing reliable work.
And have you testified in court before?
Yes, I have.
And I believe you mentioned that one of your job responsibilities, in addition to conducting analysis on different pieces of evidence that are collected, you actually draft reports based on your conclusions of your testing, correct?
Correct.
And are those reports reviewed by another person before they're actually released?
Correct. Within the laboratory, our electronic data goes under one set of review. And then once the case file is put together, it undergoes a technical review, which is where somebody else looks to make sure that all the procedures were followed. And then after the technical review, an administrative review is done, and that's looking for things like grammar, spelling, things like that.
Now, do you conduct DNA analysis as part of your duties?
Yes, I do.
Can you explain to us what is DNA?
DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. It's essentially the backbone of our bodies, and it's useful within forensics because it's what we are able to use to differentiate individuals. So your DNA would be different from yours and so on, unless you have an identical twin. That's the only time someone would have the same set of DNA. And within that DNA, we're looking at portions of it, which are called alleles. And from those alleles, you receive one from your mother and one from your father. And then within our data, that's what we're looking at when we're making comparisons from the evidence to the reference standards.
Now, in your work of DNA analysis specifically, are there things called known samples versus unknown samples?
Correct. We refer to evidence samples as unknowns because we don't know who the evidence is coming from. And then known samples are also referred to as reference standards. So that's when a sample is collected from the inside of somebody's cheek, and then we use that as that individual's known standard.
So those terms are interchangeably used then?
Correct.
So known sample and reference standard?
Correct.
I'm so glad we're going
If
to
you
find out
have
it's all
a known
John's
sample
blood.
or reference standard, how would you go developing a profile from that sample?
The unknown, so the evidence samples and the reference standards essentially undergo the same process. The first step in that process is actually screening the item. So commonly we see swabs. So the swabs would be cut into a tube. Then the next step is called extraction, and that's where chemicals are added to the tube. And what those chemicals are doing is essentially trying to break apart the cells to get to that DNA. And then once we have that sample, we take that to quantitation. Quantitation is where we use an instrument to see how much DNA is present there. It can also show things like how much male DNA is present, if the sample may be degraded, things like that. After that step, we go to amplification. It's essentially like a Xerox machine. So what that's doing is making copies and copies of the DNA, which takes us to what we call our loading phase, or where the data is actually generated by another instrument.
So when we're dealing with an unknown sample now, is it common to obtain multiple different DNA profiles from that?
So we can see different things. So we can have what's called a single source sample, which means that it's only coming from one individual. Or we can have a mixture sample, which means that we are seeing multiple people's profile in the same sample.
And is it possible with an unknown sample, occasions where you may not get a profile at all?
Sure, it depends on a lot of different things. So environmental factors. So say, for instance, if a sample was left out in the summer in Las Vegas, that DNA would be very degraded and we may not get a good sample. But there's different things, such as, say, if someone is really good about washing their hands, they may not leave much DNA behind. If an item is out in the public and a lot of people could be touching it, we would see more people on that sample. So there's quite a few different environmental things that can play a part in that.
Another example could be someone wearing gloves, right?
Correct.
Less likely to leave something behind in that case.
Yes, that's correct.
Now, you touched on this a bit. Are there different sources of DNA? I know you talked about trace DNA, but are there other sources of DNA?
Yes. Commonly within the laboratory, the best sources of DNA that we see are things like blood, semen, and saliva. So those biological fluids.
When you say best sources, what does that mean?
They commonly are just, those fluids have a higher amount of DNA present compared to skin cells that can be left behind.
And then again, the trace DNA is skin cells that are left behind?
Correct.
Now that we have a little bit of a background, I do want to talk to you about this particular case that you're testifying for today. Did you conduct an analysis on items impounded under an event number 23-15229?
Yes, so actually within this case, I did process an item of evidence, as well as another laboratory technologist in the lab. We do what's called group work. So she also did process items, and then I received the electronic data from her.
But ultimately, you're aware of all the testing that was done with
Correct.
these items, correct?
Yes.
Because you're making the conclusions.
Correct.
And it was under that event number, those items, correct?
Yes.
And that's a Henderson event number.
Correct.
And there were several items that were tested, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Can you talk to us a little bit about when the lab is receiving items, how are they packaged?
Most commonly, we see items within manila envelopes or brown paper bags. Everything is sealed with evidence tape, and on that tape, it typically has the date and the person's initials and P number, or their personnel number. So that's the person that actually packaged those items, impounded them into the laboratory. And then when we receive those items, they are processed through an evidence technician, and then there is also an electronic chain of custody.
And a report number is typically listed on
Correct.
the items as well?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you're conducting an analysis of different items, such as the ones in this case, are there precautions that are taken to ensure the integrity of the items and that remains intact?
Yes, so within the laboratory, when we are first receiving a package, we make sure that everything is sealed. There's no signs of any tampering or tears within the package. Then whoever's handling the package does wear gloves and a face mask and a lab coat. We make sure that there's only one item of evidence open at a time, so that way nothing can be mixed up, put into the wrong package. The main thing that we're trying to prevent is any contamination. So whether that could be contamination from us onto the item or from item to item. And then once we examine an item of evidence, we do swap out any paper that we use on our lab bench. We bleach down all of our instruments. And again, we just make sure we only have one thing out at a time.
So then, knowing that, I want to turn your attention to some of the samples that you did an analysis on in this case. Specifically, I want to start with the reference standards from both Johnathan Willette, which was lab item 5, as well as Devyn Michaels, lab item 11. You're aware of both of those, correct?
Yes.
Specifically, the reference standard for Johnathan Willette was in an impound package number 1678-004.
Correct.
And then the reference standard for Devyn Michaels was in an impound package number 1554-001.
Correct.
Can you walk us through the analysis done on those items?
So with the reference standards, we actually examine all items of evidence first before touching the reference standards. Again, that's just to make sure that there's no contamination between the known samples from the individuals to the items of evidence. And those items essentially undergo the same process. So they go through the extraction stage, quantitation stage, amplification, and then the data is generated from those.
Okay. And are these reference standards, do they come in what we call a buccal swab?
Correct. So the buccal swab kit is just a little white envelope. Those are again sealed with evidence tape. And then inside is commonly a swab box with two, they look like very large Q-tips. And those are what's used to swab on the inside of somebody's mouth.
And that's what was done in this case?
Correct.
Now I want to turn your attention then to an apparent hair lab item 19.2. There wasn't a long analysis on that, correct?
No, that was not tested.
Okay. And that was just found during your analysis of all the items, correct?
Correct. The laboratory technologist found it on another item of evidence, so she just packaged it and put it with the original evidence.
Okay. Then going to lab item 1, there was swabs from Johnathan Willette's cell phone screen, is that correct?
Correct.
And that was from an impound package number 2312-004?
Correct.
And did you prepare a report in conjunction of your analysis of that sample?
Yes.
I bet it's John's.
And your understanding of this sample was that there was a positive presumptive blood test, correct?
Correct. So what that essentially means is when we're doing the testing, if we see something that may resemble blood, we use it's essentially a color change test. So the technologist will take a small sample of that, apply chemicals to the filter paper, and if there's a color change, that indicates that it's a presumptive positive test for blood.
And in this case, you were aware that the owner of the phone was Johnathan Willette, correct?
Correct.
So he was then considered an assumed contributor, correct?
Correct. We do what's called an an assumption when we are aware of, say, swabs are coming from somebody's body or an item of someone's, in this case, it was his cell phone. So I was able to look at the data and assume that his DNA was present. And again, in my conclusions, there was also no foreign DNA indicated.
And what is foreign DNA?
In this case, foreign DNA would just be from somebody besides Mr. Willette.
And there was no foreign DNA, is that right?
Correct.
Now, are there better sources of DNA than others? I think you touched on this a little bit about blood and saliva and things of that nature having more DNA contained in it.
Correct.
Then turning to the swab from underneath Johnathan's left-hand fingernails, that was lab item 6, correct?
Correct.
And that was collected under impound package number 1678-003.
Yes.
Walk us through the processing of that item.
It was essentially the same processing. So again, it went from the extraction stage to data generation. In this case, again, since it's a swab coming from his body, I'm able to make the assumption. So assuming that he is a contributor, there was also no foreign DNA present.
Okay. Now let's go to the swab from underneath Johnathan's right-hand fingernails, lab item 7, correct?
Correct.
That was impound package number 1678-003.
Correct.
Same sort of processing as the left hand.
Correct.
Okay. Any results from the right hand?
In this case, for this sample, looking at the data, it was what we call too limited, which means that there wasn't enough data there to basically make any interpretations.
And when you say not enough data, what do you mean by that?
Within the laboratory, we have internal validations, which essentially show values for how much DNA we're expecting in a sample to generate a profile. So looking at this sample, because it didn't meet our thresholds, it wasn't processed further, or once it was processed, can I start over with that one?
Sure, go for it.
It did meet our validation, so it was processed to the data generation phase, but then once we received the data, at that point, there weren't enough alleles present to make any further interpretations.
And are you surprised by this at all?
No, we commonly see that.
Okay. Now, I just want to go back briefly to the swab from Johnathan Willette's cell phone screen that you conducted analysis on, that we just talked about. You recall that?
Yes.
Did you look at the profiles of it and compare that to the alleles?
So what we do when we're looking at data is essentially we do look at all of our evidence first before we make any comparisons. So looking at the cell phone sample, it appeared to be one male contributor. And then at that point, I take that profile and I do compare it to the reference standards. So it was consistent with Johnathan Willette.
And the reference standards, plural?
Yes, all evidence samples are compared to all reference standards.
Okay, and in this case, there were multiple, correct?
Correct.
Devyn Michaels and Johnathan Willette.
Correct.
Okay. Moving on then to the swabs of placard number A, that was lab item 2, correct?
Correct.
And that was contained in impound package number 1951-005, correct?
Yes.
How was that item processed?
For this sample, there was also a positive presumptive blood test. So again, it was a color change test, and the color change was indicated. So the laboratory technologists did take that forward. And then with that sample, when I looked at the data, there was one male contributor detected. And when we're looking at our data, we also generate statistics. So our statistic is called a likelihood ratio. And essentially, what a likelihood ratio is trying to do is answer the question of how many times more likely is it to observe the DNA profile if the person is a contributor than if they are not a contributor. So in this case, I did generate a likelihood ratio for Johnathan Willette.
Okay, and do you recall what that was?
May I reference my report?
Absolutely. Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
And with Your Honor's permission, I believe there's stipulation with defense. If I could leave these reports up here, just because there are multiple pieces of DNA that she may not have memorized.
And that's completely fine. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
We're just not testifying from it. So specifically, swabs of placard number A, do you recall the likelihood there?
Yes.
What was it?
So Devyn Michaels was excluded from the sample. And it is 223 octillion times more likely to observe this DNA profile if Johnathan Willette is a contributor than if he is not a contributor.
Yeah, no.
How many zeros
it's
is
all
that?
Jonathan's blood. We know.
It's 223 with 27 zeros.
27 zeros?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else from that specific item?
No.
Okay. Moving on then to the swabs of placard number B, lab item 3.
Correct.
And you conducted testing on that.
Yes.
Impound package number 1951-005.
Yes.
And did that item undergo the same processing as the sample from placard A?
Yes. I had the same a positive presumptive blood test, and then it was also one male contributor with the same statistic as the previous sample.
And what was the statistical conclusion again?
It is 223 octillion times more likely to observe this DNA profile if Johnathan Willette is a contributor than if he is not.
Octillion.
And was someone excluded?
Yes, Devyn Michaels was excluded.
Again, 27 zeros
Yes,
for the inclusion of Johnathan Willette.
correct.
Anything else from that sample?
No.
Okay. Moving on to the swab of the lemon ammonia bottle, lab item 12. You conducted testing.
Yes.
That was in impound package number 2102-001.
Yes.
What was the testing conducted on that item?
This item did not undergo the whole process. So once we got to the quantitation stage, it was determined that there was not enough DNA present in order to produce a profile. So we did not take it forward.
What determines whether or not there's enough DNA?
Again, with our internal validations, that's kind of what determines our values when we're looking at the quantitation stage. And then based on those values, if it doesn't meet that threshold, then it's called we drop the sample, or essentially we just don't take it forward.
Now, certain surfaces can provide more conclusions, right? Meaning some surfaces hold DNA better than others.
Sure, certain things, say if something is more porous or there's more textured surfaces, that can often be better sources of DNA. But again, it just depends on a lot of environmental things, or if the items were cleaned, things like that.
Including wearing gloves, right?
Correct.
Now I want anything else from that sample?
No.
Okay. So moving on then to the swab of the soft scrub cleanser with bleach bottle, lab item 13, you conducted testing.
Correct.
That was in impound package number 2102-002.
Yes.
And there was testing conducted on that item, correct?
Yes.
And what was the result of that?
That again is sort of like the last item. So it did go up to the quantitation stage. And again, there was an insufficient amount of DNA, so it wasn't taken forward to data generation.
So nothing on the bottles.
Anything else from that sample?
Cleaner.
No.
Moving on to the swab from the textured surfaces of a wooden stick, lab item 15. You conducted testing,
Correct.
and that was in impound package number 2102-004/001.
Yes.
And there was testing conducted on that.
Correct.
What was the process for that?
In that case, a profile was generated, but within the profile, there was indications of a mixture. So I could see that there was more than one person present. But again, because the data was too limited, I could not make any further comparisons.
Okay, moving on to the swab from the textured surfaces of a doggy door cover, lab item 16. You conducted testing,
Yes.
and that was in impound package number 2102-003-001.
Yes.
What was the testing conducted on that item?
That sample went to the quantitation stage, and at that time it was determined there was an insufficient amount of DNA, so it was dropped at that time.
Again, that in-house validation you talked about earlier.
Correct.
Now, are you surprised by this with, trace DNA samples and things of that nature being what they are?
No, it's commonly seen within the laboratory.
And we kind of already went over this, but certain surfaces are easier to lift DNA from than others.
Correct.
Moving on to the swab from the garage door opener button, lab item 17, you conducted testing.
Yes.
And that was contained in impound package number 1951-006-007.
Yes.
What was the processing of that sample?
Data was generated for that sample, and looking at it, I determined that there was 2 contributors present. At least one was male. Devyn Michaels was uninformative, so that essentially means that there wasn't statistical support for an inclusion or an exclusion. And then there was support for inclusion for Johnathan Willette.
Hi, baby goats.
Now, looking specifically at the inclusion of Johnathan Willette, what was the statistical conclusion of that?
My girl, me too.
It is 194 million times more likely to observe the DNA evidence if Johnathan Willette is a contributor than if he is not a contributor.
How many zeros is that? Is that 6?
6, correct.
Okay. Now, you mentioned that it was uninformative regarding Devyn Michaels, correct?
Correct.
But there was a statistic related to that.
Correct. So we do still receive that likelihood ratio. In this case, it was 0.0108.
Now, your lab, as well as yourself, conducted analysis on some bags that were impounded, correct?
Correct.
Now, I want to talk specifically about the swabbing of the outside and inside of the wallet, including all pocket openings, also known as lab item 18.2.
Yes.
Testing was done on that.
Correct.
Impound package number 2312-002-002.
Correct.
What was the testing on that sample?
Data was generated for that sample. Looking at the profile, I determined it was a 4-person mixture. At least one was male. And there was actually support for inclusion for both individuals. And then since there is support for both, we do what's called a combined support for inclusion. So that means that we're ensuring that the statistic shows they can be present on the sample together.
So you said both. What do you mean by both? Who?
Oh, I'm sorry. For
Okay.
both Johnathan Willette and Devyn Michaels.
We're
So
on
both
the
Johnathan
plastic
Willette
bag.
and Devyn Michaels are included.
Correct. There is support for inclusion for
on
both
the
individuals.
plastic bags.
And
Is
what
that
was
what
the
she said?
statistical conclusions? Let's start with Johnathan Willette's first.
His likelihood ratio was 13.6 times 10 to the 27th, which is the octillion.
And how many zeros is that?
27.
Okay. And how about Devyn Michaels?
766 times 10 to the 21st, which is sextillion.
21 zeros.
Correct.
Now, the combined statistical conclusion, what was that?
It is 2.8. I'm sorry, I'm going to read this just because it's long. Septendecillion, which is 10 to the 54th, times more likely to observe the DNA evidence if both Johnathan Willette and Devyn Michaels are contributors than if they are not contributors.
And how many zeros is that?
54.
Anything else from that item?
No.
Okay. Let's
Except
move
that their
over
DNA was on the
to
bags.
swabbing of entire contents of wallet, also known as lab item 18.3. You did testing of that.
The wallet.
And that was contained in impound package number 2312-002-002.
Correct.
What was the testing on that sample?
Data was generated for that sample, but looking at the data, I determined that there was a mixture of at least 5 contributors. And our software program, we are only validated to evaluate samples with up to 4 contributors. So in this case, it's called too complex, so I could not make any further interpretations.
Literally none of this matters in case you guys haven't been following or zoned
Anything else
out.
from that
It's
sample?
Jonathan's blood, him and Devyn's
Moving on then
fingerprints
to
on
the
the bags.
swabbing of a
Nothing else.
knot of plastic bag containing wallet, also known as lab item 18.1. You conducted testing.
Correct.
And that was found in impound package number 2312-002-002.
Yes.
What was the testing of that item?
Data was generated, and it was determined to be a mixture of 3 contributors with at least 1 male. Johnathan Willette was uninformative, and there was support for inclusion for Devyn Michaels.
So you mentioned what uninformative was previously, but you were able to come up with a statistical conclusion still, even though it was uninformative.
Correct.
What was that statistical conclusion involving Johnathan Willette?
The likelihood ratio for that is 6.18.
And then how about Devyn Michaels, who there is support for inclusion?
It is 90 octillion times more likely to observe the DNA profile if Devyn Michaels is a contributor than if she is not a contributor.
And how many zeros is that?
27.
Okay. Now, you mentioned that there are multiple contributors to this bag, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Are you surprised by that?
No, it's commonly seen. Again, it could be something in the environment, or think about if you get bags from the store, you don't know how many people are touching the bag. So it's commonly seen with trace DNA like that.
So if bags are reused multiple times, there could be more than one contributor.
Correct.
Now, can you talk to us briefly a little bit about transfer DNA and what that means?
Essentially, transfer DNA, I can give an example of, say, if we're shaking hands, and then, so I would get some of her DNA onto my hand, and then I go to touch the door when I'm leaving, I could possibly leave some of her DNA on that door, even though she hasn't touched the door yet. So we commonly do see transfer with items, but within our testing, we're not able to say, like, to what degree, if any DNA was transferred.
Moving on then to swabbing of social security card from Johnathan Willette, also known as lab item 19.1. You did testing on that.
Yes.
That was contained in an impound package number of 2312-002-005.
Correct.
What was the testing of that sample?
Within that sample, it was determined to be a mixture of 4 contributors with at least 1 male. And there was support for inclusion for both Johnathan Willette and Devyn Michaels. And then, so since there's support for both, I also calculated the combined support for inclusion.
Let's start with the individuals. So let's start with support for inclusion of Johnathan Willette.
It is 32.3 trillion, so 10 to the 12th.
And then what about Devyn Michaels individually?
413 million, which is 10 to the 6th.
And now the combined inclusion, including both.
It is 6.28 nonillion, which is 10 to the 30th, times more likely to observe the DNA profile if both Johnathan Willette and Devyn Michaels are contributors than if they are not contributors.
So 30 zeros, correct?
Correct.
Court's indulgence?
Now remember, they didn't take Devier's DNA
Yes, briefly.
at all. For some of those multiple contributors, really, we didn't do that? That told us nothing. No offense, lady. You did great, but that wasn't at all helpful with anything.
And in reference to the reference standards, generally taken from buccal swabs or otherwise, correct?
Correct.
And in this case, we just had 2 reference standards, correct?
Correct.
Johnathan Willette and Devyn Michaels, correct?
Yes.
There was no reference standard submitted for your evaluation concerning a Devyn Willette, correct?
No, I did not receive a standard for him.
Fair to say that based upon your analysis, we had DNA attributable to Devyn Michaels and Johnathan Willette on the plastic bag containing the wallet, based upon your testimony.
So yes, there was support that they could be contributors to the profiles, yes.
Same thing concerning the outside and inside of the wallet, correct?
Yes.
Devyn and Johnathan, correct?
Correct.
And again, you're not able to say how long that had been there. It could have been a day, it could have been months, but we have basically DNA that's attributable to these 2 individuals, correct?
Correct. Within our testing, we're not able to say when someone's DNA was deposited or how. We're just able to say that it's there or not.
And again, this DNA is possible to be transferred. There have been questions concerning that, but also just by merely handling it. We leave epithelial cells, we can leave DNA on things that we touch, correct?
Correct.
And again, you found that DNA attributable to both Devyn Michaels and Johnathan Willette on the bags that you evaluated, correct?
Correct.
As well as the wallet.
Correct.
The cell phone, however, there was only 1 individual, correct?
Correct. I was only able to, again, assume Johnathan Willette on the cell phone, and there was no foreign DNA noted.
Specifically that of Devyn Michaels, correct?
Correct. She was excluded.
She was excluded. As far as the swab taken from underneath Johnathan Willette's right hand, that was lab item number 7.
Okay.
Your findings were the DNA profile obtained is consistent with at least 1 male contributor, correct?
Correct.
That would be, there could have been more male contributors, correct? Based upon the wording of this, at least 1.
Well, for example, for this sample, the data was too limited, so I'm not able to make any further comparisons. I was just able to see, based on certain gender markers that we have, there was data present showing that there was a male, but I wasn't able to make any further comparisons.
Okay, and that would be one male in addition to Johnathan Willette, correct?
No. So within the sample, I'm not comparing it to his DNA. I'm just essentially looking at the data, seeing that there is at least one male present, but the entire profile is too limited, so I'm not comparing it to Mr. Willette or Mrs. Michaels.
Okay, and just so we're clear, you just had the 2 reference standards, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Oh yeah, please say the state rest. Please say the state rest. Please say the state rest.
Court's indulgence.
Anybody else? It's just like, all right, you guys have had your time. We get it. I mean, who else could they possibly?
And just briefly, if something
Phone
has
person,
blood
maybe.
on it, is it possible to subsume other sources of DNA as a result?
Are you able to reword the question?
Yeah, that was probably very confusing. So if there's a blood sample, is it possible that the blood being so saturated that it could subsume other sources of DNA?
Well, within our testing, we're not confirming if it is blood or not. Our testing is just a presumptive test, so it gives the indication that blood may be present, but I can't, basically, I can't confirm that it is blood present. So what we're doing is just showing, blood may be indicated, and then DNA is also there. So we're not able to say for sure this DNA is coming from the blood. And then also, I'm not sure how the cell phone was swabbed, so I wasn't the one collecting it, so I'm not too sure, how they handled that evidence.
So if I were to touch an item, with my finger, for instance, but then my nose started bleeding and it went on the item, would that make a difference?
Well, in that case, I wouldn't be able to tell, if her DNA came from the skin cells or if it came from her blood. Essentially, it would just be showing that her profile would be present.
Past witness.
Follow-up question. This is my cell phone. I handled it. You'd presume that my DNA would be found on this, correct?
Yes.
And that would come from the epithelial cells of my fingers on this cell phone, correct?
Yes.
So presumably, if a person handled a cell phone or carried it, you would expect to find that person's DNA on the cell phone, correct?
Correct.
And in reference to the cell phone that you had tested, only Johnathan Willette's DNA was found, correct?
Correct.
No further questions.
Oh, bravo, sir. Way to clear that up.
No foreign DNA, correct?
Correct.
On the phone.
Correct.
Nothing further.
Any follow-up?
No, Your Honor.
Ladies and gentlemen, the jury have any questions for this witness? Okay, please write your question and pull it to the table with your name and your jury number.
Oh, we got jury questions, yo. Rude. Very rude. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. So only John's DNA was found on the phone, which is interesting. See, I have so many thoughts of like, oh, it could be this, it could be this, it could be this. And that's bad news bears for the prosecution, for the state, that if people are speculating on their own, you're not doing a good job cleaning it up. I don't know who they would have left to call. I'm assuming maybe somebody that's going to talk about phone calls and messages. But I'm also kind of hoping the state's just like, we're done.
On the cell phone, was DNA found on the outside of the phone or just on the screen?
Again, the swabs were collected by the Henderson crime scene analyst, so I'm not sure how they swabbed the phone.
State, any follow-up?
Your Honor, I'm sorry.
Oh,
One
sorry.
more question.
Councilman Perch?
It was, did the blood, was it found on the inside of the phone, the outside of the phone? She doesn't know.
Ma'am, there's been testimony that Devyn and the kids touched the phone. Why would there not be DNA?
Good question.
Again, there's a lot of environmental factors. So again, if someone was wearing gloves, if the item was cleaned recently, Some people are what we call shedders, so they just naturally leave more DNA behind than others. So there's a lot of different factors that can play into that.
State any follow-up based on your question.
Court's indulgence.
That's a really good question by the juror. We know other people touched it.
Any item that I touch, I could not leave DNA, correct?
Correct.
Pass the witness.
Oh, depends any follow-up based on your question.
I think we have another juror question coming.
Okay. You want to wait until.
This is the most jury questions we've gotten for a witness this entire time. So that's interesting. This is like the one where I don't have a lot of questions for. But not everybody watches trials like we do, where we hear this testimony like all of the time. So, They are asking good questions, Christy. They are today, yeah.
Would a child be less of a shedder?
I don't have any indication for that. We don't really study that within the laboratory, so I'm not sure.
Okay. State any follow-up based on that additional question.
No, Your Honor.
Does the defense have any follow-up based on any of the jury questions?
Just briefly, you have to rely upon what's provided to you, correct?
Correct. We just receive a very brief case scenario, so I don't know, much of the information. I only know where some of the swabs are coming from and then the parties within the case.
You have to rely upon law enforcement, presumably in this case, that collected this evidence and ultimately.
Look at him
turned it
being
over
like,
to you,
shoddy
correct?
investigation again.
No further questions.
Any follow-up on that, State?
No, Your Honor.
Do ladies and gentlemen have any further questions for this witness? Okay. Right question on the 14th table.
Oh.
And your jury.
Another question. Somebody is alert this late in the day. Okay. Interesting. Here I'm like, this lady didn't do nothing for me. And the jury's like, I have questions. Or it's just one juror. I mean, it's just like, I have questions. I have all of the questions. I've been waiting for this witness. Oh, it must be a long question. I think I would be a really annoying juror if I was a place that could ask questions. I would be so annoying. Oh, Angie, at least they're awake, right? I'm barely. But it's also like 7:30 my time. So I don't think the state's going to rest tonight. I'd be surprised. But maybe. It'd be nice if tonight she tells the jury like some idea of where they are in this trial. That'd be nice if she let them know so we could hear about it. I personally would be grateful because then I can plan my schedule. Because they also said that they were missing like some sort of like meat cleaver thing, which, yeah, I guess she could use that. That would pretty much render him, unable to do very much. But why take the head then? It's weird. But people do weird, crazy things all of the time, so,
Okay, ma'am. Given the blood on the cell phone, is it more likely that that area was swabbed?
Again, I'm not sure. I don't know, how much possible blood was present on the phone. So I'm not sure if that was the only area that the crime scene analyst swabbed or if they swabbed the entire phone.
Does CSA document their swabbing procedures when they turn in a sample, such as the area swabbed, the number of times, things like that?
I'm not too sure, especially since it's an outside jurisdiction. I'm not sure how Henderson handles their cases.
Interesting. Good question.
I do have
Jurors.
one question.
State, you just gotta go to order, Mr. President. Okay, Mr. Justice.
Thank you, and that brings forth a question. The samples that you had analyzed on the phone, you would testify that obviously it was Johnathan Willette's DNA, correct?
Correct.
You're not able to say whether that was in fact blood, are you?
Correct. Again, it was just a positive presumptive test for blood. So it was an indication, not a confirmation.
Okay, so it could have been epithelial cells and not blood.
Correct.
It could have been fluid from a blister, something like that, correct?
It could be a mixture. So with the test, it is, it gives the indication that it's blood. So not, we're not going to have all these different substances that would give a positive test. There are a few things that could give a false positive, like certain, there's certain food, like enzymes in food that can get, I can't name one off the top of my head, but there's different things like that that could give a false positive, but the test is specific to enzymes within our blood.
But you can't say that it was blood, correct?
Correct. I can't confirm that it's blood.
Thank you, no further questions.
Any follow-up, Ms. Summer? No. You, ladies and gentlemen, jury, have any further questions for this witness? Okay, seeing no response, ma'am, you are excused. Thank you very much for
Wow.
being with us here today.
Thank you.
That's the most jury questions we've gotten this entire time. Okay.
Okay,
So-
ladies and gentlemen, at this point, we are going to take our night recess. During this recess, you must not discuss or communicate with anyone, including fellow jurors, in any way regarding this case or its merits. Either by voice, phone, email, text, internet, or other means of communication or social media. You must not read, watch, listen to news, or read accounts of content about the case. You must not do any research, such as the social dictionary, using the internet, or using reference materials. You must not make an investigation, test the theory of the case, recreate any aspect of the case, or in any other way investigate or learn about the case on your own. You must not form or express any opinion regarding this case unless transmitted to you. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be at recess till tomorrow at 11 a.m.
Oh,
Rise for the jury.
so another late day for us. Why won't she tell us, how many trials we've watched together this year where the judges have been so kind and updating the jury and be like, hey, we're making great progress. Hey, but no, yet nothing. I mean, the state has to be wrapping up. What else? Literally all I can think of is phone calls and texts, but I'm thinking maybe the state doesn't want to bring those in because the only people that keep bringing it up is the defense. And this afternoon was, in my opinion, not good for the prosecution. Not good for them. That's attorney or that investigator, the lead investigator. Yikes. So I don't know. Oh man, how did the ME say that there were no tattoos on his body? Like, yikes. Big yikes. Big yikes. They didn't take DNA. Here's one of the things that really bothered me about the lead investigator is that they were so quick to rule Devier out, which, okay, I get it, but also I don't. Because statistically, it's probably Devier. Like how many cases do we read and watch all the time where it makes more sense that it's him versus Devyn? Because we see this shit all the time. And then especially when there's kids involved, they were married, and you're just going to take his word for it because the day that you interview with him, he's drunk as fuck. And he says, oh, it's because, I found out what happened to my dad, which, okay, fair. But also, how many times have we watched stuff where it's like the person did the murder, took over them, and they were drinking and doing drugs as well? It's very common for that to happen. Okay. I have something playing. All right, I don't know what that was about. Like, really? You didn't even investigate him more, period? You just took his word for it. And I think that's just really weird. I think it's weird. You didn't even take his DNA just in case. And they're like, well, it would have everybody's. Well, you took freaking Devyn's. You took her DNA. I mean, I'm just saying. We see cases all the time where kids, no matter their age, but kids kill their parents. I mean, let alone somebody in this weird relationship thing they have going on. I don't know. I just feel like they were too quick to rule him out, period. And it led to sloppy work. You know? Because, yeah, it was very trust me, bro, Ange. Like, well, he said he was home watching the girls and his phone was doing stuff. Now he was probably asleep, but like what? What? You know how many times we've heard people be like, "Oh, Brian Koberger, for example." Like like these are giant red flags, you know? And I think that's where they're running into the problem here is that these are big holes for the state's case that they don't have answers for. You know, how is it that of all the law enforcement we've watched testify in the last several days, the lead detectives seemed not to know shit about anything of this case? Well, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. You'll have to ask somebody else. Sir, you are the lead detective. Okay? You should know these things. It's embarrassing for you. Embarrassing. Well, that means we're going to have another show tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. Another late start in the day, which, okay, fine. So we will be doing that. Oh, you know, and oh my gosh, there's just so many. Like, yes, she could have used the meat cleaver in the head. That could. Well, that's still risky. Like, you had to make sure you get it in there. I don't know how hard it is to penetrate a skull with a meat cleaver. I don't know how easy that is. I don't know. I don't have one. Does anybody know how that works? Because she's also not a very big person. So, and that's a risky little thing to do, right? Because you better get it in one shot. Because John was a big dude, you know? And no false starts, Christy, right? Right. I don't know how many of you have watched dismemberment cases, but I have watched a lot. And guess what there is every single time? False starts. False starts. So none of those. And again, the electronic saw of whatever sorts, nobody heard that. His mom could hear a bang and some dogs freaking barking, but not a reciprocating saw. I don't know how loud those are. I don't know. Does it look like I know anything about tools? No, I do not. No, I do not. But I would imagine Devyn has probably, if this was her, has probably, I don't know, never cut a head off somebody before. And you're telling me her first time, she did it. There was no hesitation marks. There wasn't, blood spatter everywhere on the walls, on her clothes. As a matter of fact, everybody's like, there's not even enough blood, which is surprising to me because there was a lot there. But personally, I think that somebody might have had something under. This was my theory a few days ago, was that the person could have also wrapped his head in like blankets or something before they cut it. We did Lady in Gray, and I did a case, Howard Hawk Willis, that freaking crazy story for True Crime and Wine Time. And that's exactly what he did. He wrapped the head around with blankets and stuff, and then got it. But one, he couldn't. The defense needs to let go he was killed someone else and then brought here to do this. It doesn't even make any sense at all. At all. I don't know why they keep bringing it up, because he's kind of a big dude, and it would take more than one person to even carry a dead body into the house undetected. Like, doesn't make any sense to me. But Lainey says, but why did she hit him with the candlestick in the first place? See, that's what I was wondering, because I've been picking up little hints. And I believe it was the defense maybe said something today in their cross about, it's about Devyn's voice memo that she sent to John at like 4 a.m. We have not heard this voice memo. We have not heard it. The only people that freaking talk about it is the defense, which I think the prosecution's brought up one time, but they didn't even play it or nothing, which is weird. I would like to hear how she sounded at 4 o'clock in the morning. Why was she up at 4 o'clock in the morning? But I don't know. Some nights I don't have the best sleep, but they said that she was, that John was supposed to go with her to enroll the girls in school the next morning, which we know that's exactly what she did. She, took them to the new elementary school. She was there for an hour. And that got me thinking earlier, right? Because when they were tracking the movement of everybody's phones, right? The red, green, blue. Blue was John, green Devier, and red Devyn. Okay. They track them going everywhere. While her and John are at his parents' place, right? Hers lights up every now and then. His lights up a few times right before 11:30, and then it doesn't light up again. Okay. As a matter of fact, they're saying, oh, she took the phone with her to go wherever, which I would assume means that his phone did not light up on that trip back to her house. It lit up when they were moving, okay, but not when he headed back, which you would think would be like, oh, maybe the phone was dead or turned off. Okay, well, they haven't told us that yet, if that was the case. All right. And then the next time that we see his phone like active or whatever is at Devyn's place at around between 7, 8 in the morning. Both Devyn's phone is lighting up and John's phone is lighting up. Now, if John was supposed to go with her to take the girls, to elementary school and enroll them there, she easily could have just been calling John repeatedly, trying to wake him up, see if he's going to come, and then just said, fuck it, and just took the girls herself because she didn't have time to babysit a grown man. So that could explain why both the phones were lighting up at the same time. Now the state is saying, oh, well, she was going through his phone, and because there was no notifications on the phone when they found it, which is a little suspicious. But both of those things sound very plausible. She was either had his phone, but that's the thing is, if she got home at 2:44, I think is when she got home, she leaves him a voice memo at 4. Then she leaves the house at like 8:01 in the morning to take the girls to that school and stop by that Funny's gas station and car wash. If she had his phone and she wanted to know what was damn well in that phone, she would have stayed up all night going through that phone. Okay. Some of you ladies may know what I'm talking about. All right. Who's ever done that? I'll admit my crazy. I've been there. You will spend all freaking night going through that phone. But that's not what happened. That's not what happened. As a matter of fact, nothing was done with it between that time. And I think that's interesting. So I don't know. I would hope she doesn't testify. Yeah, but see, I don't know, Christy. If she can do better than Debbie. I mean, some of the questions today that, we heard, somebody on that jury is suspicious of Devier. Because they asked, did you go through his truck and like inventory his access to possible weapons? And they're like, no, it's fine. His car didn't leave, his phone didn't leave, so he definitely couldn't have nothing to do with it. Sir, there's crazier things that can happen. Get out of here. So we'll see. I'm curious what the defense is going to put on. But today was a good day for them. Today was a very good day for them. And I cannot believe that the state let them tell the jury about the tattoo. Just, oof. Oh, that's tough, right? That's a tough blow right there. I don't think I've ever seen it. I mean, like, really just drop the ball on that, you know? Yikes. Anyway, guys, hopefully tomorrow will also be an interesting day. Will we get to the defense tomorrow? I don't know. We'll see. If I don't get those phone calls and text messages, though, I'm going to be very mad. I'm going to be very mad because this would be like the first trial ever that they don't bring in phone calls and text messages. Let's talk about the house phone calls, right? The state does not like it when a defense brings up the house phone. They are not a fan of that. And I don't know if it's because maybe they didn't know house phones exist. But here's the thing is, I don't know why the state gets all like, whoa, about the house phone, because if they're saying Devier, and this is confusing me about the defense too, bringing this up, because if you're saying Devier is blowing up her phone because he's at home and using the house phone, that could make people think that, oh, you can't place him at the house. So it had to be Devyn. They had to conspire. I don't know. Or he couldn't get a hold of her and then got pissed off and went over there himself. I don't know why they keep bringing it up, but it is interesting to me that they do and the state does not. Because remember, the state is hell-bent on telling you that Devier had nothing to do with it. Because they need him to be at home and asleep. And that's interesting and weird. Interesting and weird. But I don't know. Yeah, a landline, Christy. Can you believe that? I don't know anybody that has a landline still, to be quite honest. Oh my goodness. Oh, could you? I would hate it with all the scammers now calling all the time. Ugh, yuck. Yuck, yuck. Well, friends, it is almost 8 o'clock my time, and so I need to get off here, let my brain wind down. We will be back tomorrow at 1:45 Eastern for day 6 of the Nevada versus Devyn Michaels case. So hopefully tomorrow will be an interesting day as well. So until then, you guys, I hope you all have a great night. Come back tomorrow with your theories or speculations. That's fine. We love it. Congratulations to all of the new members that won gifted memberships today. And a special thank you to everyone who did gift memberships today. Love you guys. You guys are the best. And I look forward to all the fun member stuff we get into. So until tomorrow, guys, go forth and be amazing. Bye, guys.